Hello, hello.
What's up, fucktard?
You are live right now.
Oh,
Hence the title of the voice chat.
just general chat.
Right under that it says live stream.
Oh,
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good.
I'm about to play some No Man's Sky. Brand new
Mm.
save file. Maybe taking a little single day break from politics unless somebody comes in and because the game is installing. Oops. That kind of sucks.
How many streamers? How many watch? Viewers is the word.
Okay. Now it's back up. Okay. This should work now. That was annoying. Oh man, I really need a new computer. You're so slow. There we go. There we go. All right. Do a brand new file. Yeah, I'm gonna fuck around with these. Blah, 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 blah. Doing normal. It's gonna take a second to load because my old as fuck PC. Yeah, been a minute. forever loading on my ancient computer. I swear this will start at some point. Good starting planet. Let's get a good starting planet. Come on, baby. Let's go. Been a couple years since I played. I would love a nice, beautiful starting planet. Does that mean you're almost ready? All of this hitching better mean... Whoever's watching, you can see what I'm dealing with here. This computer is old. Old as fuck, which is why I need you guys to follow. Please. So I can make extra money. Buy a better computer. Good Lord. It's going to be longer than the game itself. Don't you crash. Don't you crash. Don't you do it. Good God. This is actually... Oh, finally. Okay. Here we go.
Commencing Atlas system suit initialization.
Finally.
Life support systems.
Oh, it's cold. No, this is not a perfect starting planet.
Shield kinetic system online.
This is kind of a shitty starting planet. But that's okay. I'll make it work. Thank you for the follow, Sandy.
Aerial propulsion jetpack online.
Here we go.
Multi-tool and mining laser attachment.
Yes,
operational.
robot lady. Let's do some shit. Here we go.
User initialization sequence complete.
Look at that sweet, sweet Thank you.
Thermal protection falling.
Yeah, because you started me in a fucking ice planet. Where's my ship? Where's my ship? Ugh. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, I need to get somewhere safe though. Oh, what a shitty starting planet. Can I get like some fucking cover here or something? Jesus. Heyo. Hi, guy.
Technology recharge.
Nice. Okay. How do I fix my fucking scanner again? It's been a minute. Still need more. Okay. Looking for iron in all the wrong places. Gimme, 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 gimme. Oh, hi. What do you want? What do you have? What do you need? Viscous fluids. I don't have any of that. I could make it, but it wouldn't be okay to do on stream. Give me more. Give me more. Give me more. Give me more. Okay. Give me all that ferrite dust. Oh, yes. Tab. Fix it.
Component repaired.
Nice. Now we can scan. Ah! I need sodium. Let's get some carbon too. Carbon's always good. Oh, what else is there? It has been a long time since I played this game. There's a lot of new shit. What's in here? Search. What did I get? Oxygen. Nothing. Fucking useless. Carbon, carbon, carbon. Carbon, carbon, carbon. Okay. Sodium. Ooh, nice. A cave. Some shelter from the elements. Give me shelter. Oh, a lot of sodium. Come over here, bruh. Hi. Ah. Shit laser. Ouch.
Thermal protection falling.
No. Your thermal protection is falling.
Technology recharge.
Nice.
Thermal protection falling.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Let's find my baby. There you is. Let's collect shit on the way. Let's collect shit on the way. Blah, 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 blah. Did I get this yet, or I need... No. Advanced mining laser. What we got over here? What's the U? Deuterium. That's going to be useful. For my ship. For my ship. Let's get you. Let's get you. Why? Why is my power search thing? It's, collect. Doing a little bit of Minecrafting. Little bit of Minecraft. Get some ferrite. Because why not? It's always good to have some ferrite. Oh, what are you? Sorry, bitch. Try to eat me? You die. You die. Oh.
Technology recharge. Technology recharge.
Cool. Nope. Can't do that. Can't do that. This is actually kind of a cool starting planet. It's very interesting. How far are we? Dihydrogen. If we combine this with oxygen, we get water. That's what we call dihydrogen monoxide, folks. Ooh, look at these fuckers. Whoa! Do I have like the special scanner yet? Nah. Let's go. Running up that hill. Jeez, it's still so far. I thought it was right over this mountain, but it's not. It's not over this mountain. It's over the next mountain. Grab some sodium on the way. What's this guy? What's this guy? Huh? What's you? What is this? Hepatoid. Okay. Whoa! Fell into a hole. Almost there. We have sweet shelter inside my broken ship, which of course I have to repair. Yeah.
Thermal protection falling.
Oh. So nice. Now I don't have to worry about dying. At least for a little bit. Broken. Broken. Yeah. Yeah. Should pop out my YouTube chat just to have it. Okay. Gotta fix my shit. What do we got over here? Okay, we need metal plating. Yeah, but I don't have an Atlas pass. Some more dihydrogen. What we got in here? Well, is that worth it right now? I feel like it's not. Oh, what's this gonna do? Oh-ho! Oh-ho-ho-ho! So we need to do the same here. Destroy. And it opens. Oh, I'm so good. I'm so good at this. Okay.
Thermal protection falling.
Oh. Okay. 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 I hope I didn't just do something stupid. What you got in here? Cool. Cool. Alright. Off the side. Alright. Hermetic seal. How much do I need? One hermetic seal, one metal plating. Okay. 50 pure. Hermetic seal. I mean, one metal plating and one hermetic seal. Oh, great. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Search the crash site for supplies. I already did that, bruh. Now what? Okay.
What's going on?
Hey.
What up?
Just playing this game and chilling. How are you?
Nice. Oh, I'm tired. I've just been working all day. It's been a busy day.
Yeah?
I finally just get it done. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Oh,
No worries.
need to chill out. Yeah.
For sure. You ever
Yeah.
play No Man's Sky?
No, I'm well aware. But yeah, unfortunately, no. I don't get a lot of time to play games.
I hear ya.
That's PC only, isn't it?
Nope. Not only is it consoles as well, but it's cross-platform too.
Oh, nice. What are they selling it? What are they selling it for?
Actually, if you have like Xbox Game Pass, it's included.
Oh, I got PS Plus.
I don't know if it's on PS Plus.
It might be.
It might be. Yeah.
I mean, it's on. You're saying it's on PSN, Xbox, PC, whatever, but like it might not be the way PS Plus does it. Yeah, I didn't. I was in there sometime in the last couple of weeks, so
That's
usually
weird.
send like a notification about what their free monthly game is. So
Yeah, I don't think it is, which is kind of weird because initially when it launched, it was exclusively on PlayStation.
yeah, I guess. I mean, I know that back in the day with the console, like, because you had just exclusives to either PlayStation or Xbox. There would only be a
Right.
couple titles, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. Maybe they do shit differently now because this doesn't make as much profit. And I'm not sure.
Can I ask you a tiny teensy favor though?
What's that?
Do you have Kick?
I do not, and I would, but I can't. Yeah. No,
Oh, okay, for
no.
security reasons. Okay, I get it.
Yeah. I can't.
No
be
worries. I totally
no
understand.
Otherwise, I totally would.
Totally understand. No, I get it. No worries at all.
Try to support myself.
I respect that. Totally.
You should just go to Twitch, man. I mean, are you just using Kick just so that you have the flexibility in the event? You know, there's
Yeah.
some content issue.
Yeah, exactly. Like, cause like if I'm talking like some pretty intense political stuff,
Yeah.
I don't want to accidentally get in trouble. But also, like, I'm kind of cutting my teeth here as well, right?
Yeah.
And then, like, once I feel ready for it, like, I'll go onto Twitch. I am on YouTube actually as well, but yeah. So you can watch me on YouTube. But the only reason I mentioned Kick is because
YouTube's probably the most strict, like the strictest of the three.
Yeah.
In terms, I mean, and that's actually kind of I'm not talking about their processes, but just just maturity and like
Right.
kind of enforcement and stuff.
it's just that right now,
Which is
it,
still like Kick and go. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's still on with them, but
right now it
Kick-
just so happens that I have the most followers on Kick out of all three. So
yeah,
that's why
absolutely.
I'm trying to build it up. Oh my gosh, I'm dying. How do I fix this? Hang on. Oxygen.
Technology recharge.
Sick. Let's recharge that. Okay, I'm okay now. I was freezing up for a second there. But yeah, if you go to YouTube, it's Jordan World 1 on YouTube if you want to watch me there.
Okay, cool. I'll look that up when I.
I also
I'll
have
send you-
no
I'll send you a
idea
channel, see it.
if the stream looks any good, so you can let me know if it looks like dog shit as well.
Oh, okay, you're not using I'm tired. I'm blanking on the word. Like a stream deck or something, where you're streaming to like YouTube and
I am
Twitch and-
so I'm using Prism Live Studio, and it's streaming
Okay.
to both Kick
Oh yeah,
and
that was my
YouTube
question.
at the
I'm
same
like, so
time.
are you live on YouTube right now, or you just
Yeah,
have the capability?
yeah, I'm live on both, but I only have Kick pulled up on my end. I have the YouTube chat up and the
Oh yeah,
and
just give me like maybe like 5 minutes, and I'll
yeah,
launch it, look at
dude,
it.
take your time, dude. No rush.
Yeah, I'm sitting here just like give myself a
I'm chilling, you know.
Yeah, I'm going up there. I'm nice and focused.
Yeah, I was a little tired earlier. I wasn't sure if I wanted to get on because I was kind of sleepy. I had a good workout today. I'm working out.
That's good. Work out.
Yeah, so that's good for me.
Yeah, I gotta exercise. It really yeah, it creeps up, like you just gotta get in the routine.
Yeah, I've spent like ever since high school, like I just haven't exercised basically. You know, my
Yeah,
body.
I mean, for me, like when you know, started college, I mean, you could say exercise in a sense. Well, I did. There was times when I was very disciplined. Like I'd get up at like, like about 4 in the morning and go
Jeez.
to Lifetime, and they had a pool, so I'd swim for like half an hour, and I'd like blow dry, because you can, get ready there, and like so I just put on my suit, blow dry my hair, go to work. But that was when I was like, responsible and,
I
stuff.
feel like even though I'm
Disciplined.
being way more disciplined, I feel like 4 in the morning is still.
It was, I mean, it was
That's
tough,
really
but
tough
like
for
if
me.
you can adjust to it, I mean, because it's I don't like going to gyms when there's a fuck ton of people there, and
Oh, for sure. Well, we have the.
and then as far as
go ahead.
swimming is concerned, it's always like it's never just open pool.
Right. Right.
I mean, not that I'm a kid anymore, but I don't know.
That's okay. I get it.
It's nice to be there, like at 4 or 5 in the morning, and there's
be
just
on your
nobody
own.
there. And I
Yeah,
think it's,
for sure. Yeah, I feel more comfortable when there's no one else there except for like my workout buddy. But I've been using the they just opened the renovated gym in our complex, so there aren't that
no.
many people there, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, my thing is just it's sort of a bit of a germaphobe thing. It's also just people. I don't know. They just.
I get it, dude.
It's not they can't handle like like a gaggle of people like in a confined area or anything. That's not the issue. It's just more like.
I prefer not to be around a gaggle of people in a confined area.
I mean, I do too. Don't get me wrong. Like, I can do it. I have to do it.
Yeah,
or
I'd rather
things,
not.
but, like,
It makes me feel
yeah, I
uncomfortable.
just don't want to do that. I don't want to like have to like sit there and like observe strange behaviors and wonder why people just don't do like normal things like
Yeah, for sure.
finish their set or maybe just,
Oh no! Oh gosh.
just weird gym shit, and,
Yeah.
and most of the time it's fine, but I don't know.
Well, also as like a new gym goer, right? There's always sort of that constant for me, that sort of anxiety of like, are they judging me? Even though I know they're totally not, it's still like. In my
Well,
head.
who knows? I mean, I don't know. I don't know like how the like gym persons, because for me like at the gym like I didn't do the like I didn't go with the like do the buddy system. I'm not it's just straight lifting, and
Yeah.
I also just don't give a fuck about like what what people think and what they're doing.
I wish I could eliminate
unless it's like interfering with what I'm
paranoia.
doing, or it's like obnoxious or something.
I wish I could totally eliminate like my mental paranoia and shit like that. But I think the more I do it, the more comfortable I'll feel.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, anxiety kind of comes with it.
Yeah.
And you just, for me, anyways, it's just you just get like I don't like going to well, I don't party anymore, but like I don't like going to like social functions or after work or parties. And what I mean by parties, more like just getting together with friends like for dinner or something.
Sure.
Mostly it's not really that, it's just more of me. It's like I'm tired, I want to go, like it's very mentally taxing.
Oh, I totally get that.
Even though like you can be my best friends and stuff, because I mean for me, or at least the way I think about it is like because my persona at work is, you know, I mean, and then what I do, even though I'm not like in the office now, so I'm kind of speaking past tense, but
Sure.
it pretty much like dominates like pretty much most of my neural capacity. And then
I
by the
get
time I'm
that.
done with that, I'm like, yeah, I just kind of take off the mask. I'm like, what up, fuckheads?
Yeah.
No, I ain't expecting shit. Shut the fuck up.
So like, you know, for me,
All day.
I find it like difficult to just like motivate myself. So I'm really all about like having like a gym buddy, right?
That's that. I mean, you have ADD, right?
Yeah.
ADHD.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, even just for somebody who doesn't have it, yeah, it's really it's the motivation thing. Like, and then
100%.
once you, and then it's like dieting, exercising, or really just anything. You know, you just gotta stick to it and keep doing it. But when you have your gym buddy, you know, they just reinforce you know,
Yeah. Or
they
like
reinforce your doubt or your procrastination, which you know can ultimately leads into, well, maybe not today. That's
right. Yeah. And so like I found, I don't know if anybody else with ADHD experiences this, but like my own experience is that if I feel like I have to be the responsible one, that actually makes it way easier for me to be the responsible one, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, that's how it works. Well, and the responsible one being that, so I can operate like very spontaneously. Like Eric and I dated for like 12 years or something, and like I'm the type of person like 3 days and be like, hey, let's go on a cruise for 16 days. So I can't take off work. I'm like, dude, yes you can. You got the time. And then like
Yeah.
I can, and then I get the car. Like I drive. Like, and it's not that he can't do those things. It's just that I'm better I'm a better orchestrator and.
For sure. Yeah.
And it's not that I'm a control freak. Like it's different from being a control freak. It's just more like I have purposeful movements. Like if I go to the mall, I'm not meandering or Walmart, I'm not meandering around.
Well, I
Like,
always intend to
it's very
not
kind of
meander.
video game-ish. Like
I always
left, right,
intend
get
to
out.
not meander, but then I do because I get distracted
Well, I
by
do
shit.
sometimes as well. Well, yeah, and then I see some dumb shit, or I see some
Right,
nostalgic
exactly.
shit. I'm like, what's that? This is in Walmart? Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I'm looking at all kinds of bullshit, and then I got a bunch of trinkets I don't need.
Yep, 100%. I've found that like if I need to be responsible just for myself, it's like way harder. But if somebody's like relying on me to do stuff, it becomes way easier for me.
Yeah.
Having that accountability is like totally useful for me. Which is why I kind of want that buddy. And it just so happens that she is tough to get in the gym. So like when I saw her around the apartment, like around the complex last time, I was like, no, I need you to commit. We need to commit, right? And that's why we went this morning, because we committed.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's very good. Very nice.
So, you know, I hope I can continue this pattern, because I want to, you know, like for my health, I just need to exercise more.
Yeah, same. I mean, I'm not trying to catastrophize here or anything like that, but like at this, you're coming of age.
Right,
So,
exactly. I'm in
getting
my
old,
30s.
means
It's time.
It's exponentially getting worse for you.
Yeah,
Which means
it's
death is sooner.
that's when they all say it's like in your 30s, if you haven't been taking care of yourself, that's the time to start.
Yeah, because once you roll into your 40s, it's like, oh, I'm still like fat and
Damage
like,
is done by
like
that
like
point.
I'm just lethargic. That's a problem, and not just because it's not good. Generally good for you. It's like no, like health wise, if you look at like the data, it's
mortality
just so
starts to
detrimental.
go
And
up.
if you have any predispositions to anything, like
yeah,
no bueno.
That's like when your mortality issues start to rear their ugly
It really
heads.
does. I mean, it sounds almost, like, diet and exercise. And it's like, honestly, yeah. I mean, barring any, like, particular, special, like, diseases or viruses one might have, like, at birth or some
God, I hope
uncontrollable
not.
situation.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, just for the average, normal person, like,
Yeah.
exercise and diet, and it's really just being it's really just sticking to a routine, a schedule.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to do, you know? Trying to get in that routine and that schedule. Um, I'm waiting for it to click, but I also realize, like, you know, with ADHD, like, things aren't just gonna click. Like, I have to make myself do it, right? Otherwise, I'm
You
not
have to
going to.
physically make yourself do it. Like I
Yeah,
would even
exactly.
suggest, like it's like you know, like get up, take a walk, like even if it's just like around your cul-de-sac or block or
Yeah.
whatever your situation is, like just like take like a 3 minute walk. It's just a matter of like, all right, like I'm up before like I don't know 9 or 10, and
Sure.
like just take the like just immediately take the shower, brush your teeth, you
Well,
know,
one of the yeah, that's the stuff, you know, that's the stuff that's
because then
like
you
the
find
classic
yourself like then you
ADHD
start watching
difficult stuff.
shit or looking at your phone, and then you're
Hmm.
absorbed into other dumb shit, and then
I
it's the middle of the
found
afternoon.
ways. I found ways to like make it easier. Like, for example, you're gonna laugh, but this really works for me. I have like a little um, container for my iPad that goes in the shower, so I can
Yeah.
like do the shit that's giving me dopamine while I take a shower. It just makes it way easier for me to just do the shit. I know it's kind of crazy because I can't disconnect,
No,
but
I mean I know people who do that.
yeah.
I was speaking more to you know, stuff that lives rent free in your head. So I don't
That
know what you listen to in the shower, but if you're listening to anything that's slightly divisive, then yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean like I watch all kinds of different stuff. Actually,
Like if you're listening to
probably
music, that's you know that's fine. But like you know, it's
I'll
like
watch I'll watch like you know, yeah, I watch some of my politics stuff, but I also watch a lot of other stuff that's like not politics.
yeah, as long as it's just because
I do keep
otherwise.
like a pretty good mix of stuff. I don't only watch like politics related stuff.
No, I wasn't accusing you of that or anything.
Okay, cool.
That'd be
I
kind of
just want to
insane.
make sure that you
No,
know
I
you
you
don't
can
think I'm
tell
just
from
only
my
watching
mouth
Destiny
at
all the
this
time. You
point,
know? No, like one thing I actually really enjoy is maybe this is kind of cringe, but I really enjoy watching reaction videos of like people watching shows and movies and music that I really like because it's
I
sort of
do that
like
too.
yeah, I you know, you kind of get to live vicariously through them because you don't get to watch it for the first time again, but they do. So I don't know, I really
I'm
enjoy
not.
that.
Yeah, it's. Um. Sorry, I just heard an owl. It's for me. It's. I don't seek like reactionary stuff, you know, on content that I like per se.
Mm-hmm.
But if it comes across my algorithm for you know one, and then it depends on what it is. But it's not because I'm holding like the assumption like I'm gonna experience what I'm expecting or what I want, which is
Mm-hmm.
that same feeling I had for said content,
Okay.
which is presumably good. So,
Well, some of it
because
isn't.
I've watched some reviews on some of like my favorite stuff, and like, which is pretty obscure, but and then only to be kind of disappointed with like various analysis on it, and
Sure.
not that they
Well,
were like professional or anything, but like one of
just to
them kind of
clarify,
does that.
less so much reviews as just like you know clipped, you know, like well edited people
Right.
watching something for the first time. So I'm like watching along with them
Right.
as they watch it for the first time. There's like a whole part of YouTube of like just I'm sure you know
Oh no,
of like just
yeah,
reactions.
and I
Yeah,
understand that too.
yeah.
I get that. I mean,
Um,
and that's fine.
it's
I'm more
it's
finding it more interesting just observing like how they interpret it, or like they like what points they like you know find funny or not
sometimes I
funny or whatever.
sometimes I
Sometimes
actually
it's
get
whatever.
like
It doesn't
a
matter. It's just
sometimes I
junk
get like
content.
really good ideas for writing actually from watching people like
Yeah,
watching my
yeah.
favorite shit.
Yeah.
But you know, also like I'll watch somebody watch like Schindler's List for the first time, and it'll make me cry, and I enjoy that kind of emotional release, right? And
Yeah.
so that's part of it too, right? Is to like feel those emotions.
Right. No, I totally agree. But that's what I was kind of saying. Like, well, I don't always. they may not always share the same feeling, on
No.
that first one. Unless, but you obviously would know the content creators.
Yeah, well, no, but like if they don't, if they don't feel it the same way I do, that's valuable to me too, right? It's like, it's just because it's not the same as my own experience doesn't mean I can't value the experience.
Well, that would be like me watching Star Trek and being like, story development, characters, this one well done.
Yeah, I'd be
Yes.
sad, but I'd
You
say,
would
hey,
be-
look.
I'm not really angry. It's not about anger or frustration with the viewer. It's more like, oh well, this sucks because it's unfortunate.
Yeah, well, I'd just be sad. I'd be like, damn, that
Yeah,
makes me
it's
sad.
unfortunate. It's
But
just
like you're in fact I tried to get a friend into really really dear friend of mine into Star Trek, and we watched like an entire season of it, and I realized I had made a mistake because I started her with like the first season of The Next Generation, which is famously the worst season of The Next Generation, and she just didn't get into it, and she's like, I really don't want to watch it anymore, and I was like, oh man, okay. But yeah,
Next Generation is pretty safe, though. I mean,
Yeah,
it
but
just might not
season
be your
one is
genre.
season one is pretty terrible.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
compared
I
to
guess.
the
I
rest
mean, I
of it.
don't. I've seen it a million times, but I can't
Yeah.
tell you the last time I've seen it, so I can't even tell you, like.
But like
how
also like
slow it
when
started.
we watch season one now, we already know and love the characters, right? So it's really easy for us to watch it. For somebody who's coming in new, especially somebody who's like
Yeah.
used to the modern pacing of TV shows, I feel like it's a little tough to get into.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
especially with like the latest Star Trek movies. I forget the actor's name.
Chris Pine.
Plays Kirk. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like those movies. They're good.
I like those
them.
movies too.
They're fun.
And
They're
she
fun.
had
I like
seen those movies already, actually. And she enjoyed those movies.
them. But I think that speaks to your pacing, because this. I don't want to. I'm just saying this. It's J.J. Abrams, I think, which might as well be fucking Michael Bay.
Sci-fi
Might as
Michael
well,
Bay, yeah.
Except like the magical one, the magic side.
Mhm.
I'm the
I
Mystic
really
Box
liked.
guy.
I'll tell you though, I really liked Super 8.
Did I see it?
Oh, if you haven't, I highly recommend it.
I feel like I have, but
It's got a very E.T. Stranger Things kind of feel to it.
yeah, it's not, and you have to know, like, I'm really bad. Sometimes I'm really bad with like names, and then
No worries.
oh, like no title, like yes, sometimes you can throw a title at me. I'm like, I'm like, oh, that movie. Okay.
Yeah,
It sounds very familiar. Like
I recommend you definitely check it out
and what
if you
you're
get a
talking
chance.
about sounds like something like I
Yeah.
would be surprised if I haven't seen it.
It came out like at least like 10, 15 years ago, so it's been a
That's
minute.
like pretty much the average age of a lot of our shit here. So
God, we're getting old, dude. We're getting old, man. Feels weird.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we're the age of, like, our teachers and stuff when we were in school.
Pretty much, yeah. What's wilder is when I talk to people, they're like born post 9/11. I have to do the basic math in my head. I'm like, oh shit.
I always ask them, too. I'm like, did you learn about 9/11 in school? Did they teach you?
So I saw some clip. I don't remember what the fuck I was watching. And it showed. I think I was watching Mal, not the historical Mal. I don't think he's reincarnated yet,
Yeah,
but,
I'm pretty sure he's dead. Yeah.
you died. You did. But I was watching something and it showed. Oh, I remember now. Actually, it was about Ethan Klein. Funny enough.
Oh, how do you
Which
feel
was
about
when-
Ethan Klein?
Well, let me finish my what.
Oh yeah, sorry.
AD thing. No,
I
no,
was-
no,
I
no,
know.
I'm myself on that. I'm gonna go on. That's different. What was I saying? The 9/11 thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I saw some video, and it just briefly mentioned it was like satire comedy about more about Ethan, but there's something in there. It was like suggesting like or showing kids in New York City at the very least like they have to talk about it and their feelings and they have worksheets about it
That's good.
or something like that. And I was
I'm
like, wait,
glad.
what? Like kind of like a counsel. Like I don't know the right words to describe what I'm trying to say, but
Well, did they? Well, I feel like it should be part of their history class at this point, right?
yeah, that's a good. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess yeah. So yeah, I mean actually no, that doesn't bring this very simplistic point up. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, like once
You know,
a
we just
year.
blew up your shit. It's
Yeah, like
nah.
on September 11th, that should probably be the curriculum for the day, right?
Well, I wonder what happens. I mean, it's probably the same thing in Fairfax, then. I guess.
I imagine.
I don't know what goes
I mean,
on in
obviously,
school 'cause I'm not in school.
obviously, it was a big deal in our area as well. I mean,
Of
you
course.
remember?
That's why I'm also wondering. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe they. I mean, I'm sure that they teach it, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's probably a given, but I guess
Gosh,
I don't
do you
know.
remember what it was like that week afterwards in school? It was
I remember
crazy.
the day, the morning, the day.
I remember the whole
where,
thing. It was
I
wild.
remember where everybody
dude.
was. I remember. Yeah.
Did you ever go by the Pentagon afterwards?
Yeah, many
Yeah.
times. I worked.
was
I mean,
crazy.
well, no, I didn't. No, I was a senior. I was yeah. I was just finishing up. But my mom, my my dad. Well, my mom was going to the Pentagon that day.
Wow.
Funny enough, like she was USGS. She was Geological Survey.
Wow.
It was just the one day because she worked out in Reston. So it was just like this one particular day. She they called her in the Pentagon. I don't remember what it was about. It was one of those things where it happens, but it's just like yeah, she isn't the employee who goes to the Pentagon. Like they probably
Sure.
were having some kind of collaboration meeting or some shit.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And but my aunt and my uncle who like lived down, like in Clifton. I don't know if I'm not sure if you remember those places, but just in the county.
I remember the
around
name. I remember the name for sure.
Close by. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were both on the bridges too, and then Eric's mom and then Eric's brother were also on the bridges. So because I remember I was watching of all things like this is a funny one. I skipped school that day because I'm an asshole. I skipped school.
I was too young to
And
skip school.
I was watching Nickelodeon, specifically Nick Jr. because it's Nick Jr. in the mornings, and every other fucking channel except for Nickelodeon had the like emergency like broadcast
Yeah.
like interruption, except for fucking Nickelodeon. So I didn't know until 11 a.m. because it happened right, like around 9 a.m. Eastern time. So I didn't know until 2 hours later when I changed his channel. I was like, holy shit, like
Jesus
every channel.
Christ.
And I was like, this is some bull. I was like mad. I was like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
Why? No, wait, tell
Why
me.
am I only just knowing about this? My parents obviously they were working at the State Department that day and they got evacuated. They drove past.
They were already at work, yeah.
Yeah, and so on their way home to Fairfax, they drove past the Pentagon while it was on fire. And
My mom,
they told me
I didn't
about
personally
that.
see it. Like, I know my mom and other, a couple others that I just mentioned. Like,
Yeah.
they saw smoke and stuff. Like, but they were stuck on the bridge for hours, and there's no cell service because it was all jammed. Yeah, like I didn't talk to anybody until like late in the day,
So-
like much late in the day.
I got pulled out of school like as soon as stuff started happening.
Yeah, that's
and-
my understanding. Like, I don't know how old you were. You were probably in elementary school or something.
I was in, let's see, 2001. I would have been 10 on September 11th, 2001.
Yeah, it's
so
like
I was in
elementary school.
fifth grade, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was either 4th or 5th grade. And I'm pretty sure it was 5th grade. And Miss Vander Zanden's class. And I got called to the principal's office. My mom on the phone goes, there's something going around. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And so my nanny comes to pick me up and she says, like, a plane hit the World Trade Center. And I'm like, whoa. But in my head, right, I'm thinking like a fucking Cessna. So I'm like wondering, why am I going home? Because like a little
like just an asshole.
Yeah.
Exactly. I would have thought the same thing if I was in
Yeah.
like it's like, what are you fucking okay, so what? Like
yeah,
shit
right? Like, so
happens.
what? And so then I went home and I turned on the TV and it was not a Cessna.
And you saw
And-
that shit, it looks like something out of Godzilla. You're like, oh my
Yeah.
god.
And I watched the towers fall live on TV,
Yes,
and I'll never forget it. The two things from that time I will never forget that I watched on TV were obviously September 11th, and the other one was the Columbia disaster.
Columbia. Oh.
The space shuttle, yeah.
Uh-huh.
You remember that one?
Yes, I do.
That was so sad. And I'm such a space nerd, and like I had like a little toy space shuttle with all these little science facts. It was like you would put a card in it and it would read you all these science facts about different space things. And I used to play with it like as a space shuttle in my room. And Columbia was actually my favorite space shuttle of the whole fleet. I was devastated that day.
What year was that?
That was also 2001.
Okay. Alright, that's what
Or
I
it
thought.
might
I
have been
was gonna say, I was
2003.
like, yo, because I'm like, yo, Discovery, remember that shit?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god. And you know, again, this isn't about like placing blame. Again, just kind of,
Sorry, it was 2003. It was 2003.
yeah.
Yes,
No, I just when you said that, I kind of, my brain was like, wait, because I just immediately thought of Discovery, like as soon as you said, and I was like, oh right,
Wait, so
which was also not, yeah.
wait, do you
yeah.
mean Discovery or you mean Challenger?
No, I'm talking about in the 80s.
That's Challenger. That was Challenger. Yeah.
I thought you said it happened in that's when
So-
we're talking
so-
about the same
so
one. The
Challenger-
one that fucking exploded
Yeah.
like, right after takeoff.
Yeah, the one that exploded was Challenger. That happened in the 80s. That was before I was born.
Okay, because
Um,
you were saying like you were talking, but you're referencing the Challenger in 03 or 02.
So I'm
Which one were you
referencing
talking
the Columbia in 03.
the Columbia. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That was
Alright,
the one
so wait.
that broke apart and disintegrated
Yeah.
on re-entry.
Yeah.
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 Remember that image
Okay,
of those
so, yeah,
streaks
I'm
across
just-
the sky?
I feel embarrassed as shit. But yeah.
That image of those streaks across the sky is always going to be in my head, you know.
You know, I don't. You know, I mean, this is an unfortunate side effect of innovation, and aerospace and aviation. But
It's what
you
they
know, if you
sign
think
up
about
for.
like this, if you think about like just the moon race, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
what happened to the Russians?
The 3 Russians, the only men who
There's
died
3
in
Russians,
space.
there was one. There was a couple other incidents. There was one before that, but yet the 3, that was so tragic too.
To this
I mean,
day,
we-
those
we
are
have
the
a
only
memorial,
people.
We recognize them for that.
Yeah.
Day, but goddamn, that was it all. That was heart
To
wrenching.
this day, they are the only people who died in space.
Yeah.
And
As I'm saying, there was like around that time there was one other, like he died like I think he just straight up crashed, like, and he just was
Are you-
liquefied.
are you talking about Yuri Gagarin?
There was another.
There was another one.
there was
That's
another
right.
cosmonaut.
I can't remember his name, but there.
Yeah, I can't. I'm like I'm terrible with names.
And
but
then,
there
of
was-
course, on the American side, the tragedy of the Apollo 1 astronauts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was the
Yeah.
saddest thing. And the worst part about it is, like, it's because they couldn't open the door.
Yep.
Like, how sad
You know,
is that?
and I was just thinking about how like that's not really all that different from like this is why it's like safety and having worked in aviation safety for so long
Sure.
and regulatory stuff around it doesn't make me any expert on like craft, like don't misunderstand. But
Yeah, but we're
I mean,
we're
yeah, I write
aviation
regulations, but I
nerds.
don't
We
know
just love
shit
that
about
shit.
we have subject matter experts, we call them. But anyway, the point being that it's I'm thinking about like dive bells.
Yeah.
And dive bells and commercial diving and then just anything to do with offshore platforms or floatzillas like that. And then I guess you could extend that to nuclear, but we have far fewer examples there, and that's a little more complicated.
Of what, like nuclear disasters?
Yeah.
I mean, we have a lot, but they're very minor.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
it's not, I mean, and so it's just so important.
Like the worst one was
and
the 3
aviation
Mile
builds
Island.
this into it, the redundancies, being able, to, switch back to, analog. Most of it, there's just a lot of, but it'll be something like the Russians. I think that was the same thing with the Russians. It was like a particular valve that they were having trouble with.
Yeah,
The exact
if
situation.
I
Like, they weren't
recall
able,
correctly,
and they found him in like the position where he was trying to close the valve. Like, his
Yeah.
arm was like reached out to it. It was like, oh my god.
But I feel like, if I recall correctly, the Russians never fully released their full investigation either.
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't be. I mean, I know I haven't read it from them, the source. That would be
Yeah.
transit. What?
But that's kind of their modus operandi back then. They rarely.
Well, I mean, they're also writing in Russian, so somebody has to translate that. So.
Yeah, but I think it
trust
was.
that.
It was just my understanding that back then it was general practice for them not to release full investigations to the international community about
And
internal
we
stuff.
probably wouldn't either, but we
Yeah,
all,
sure.
but like, because the Australians, for example, I mean, they were like, a critical component, like, and just getting, televising the event, and like
Yeah.
getting the video communications going. So you got to remember, like, I mean, like, we saw the activity because they were stuck up there, I think, for like 3
Yeah.
days,
Mm-hmm.
before so we may not know like details exactly what they found, or certain aspects, like what was the extent of the mechanical failure, how much of it was human error. Like, we may not know all of those details, but I think at this point, like, we've got enough of it, and that's operating on the assumption, which is fair, that they're not going to release all the
I
details,
just pulled up
especially
the.
if there's any negligence involved.
I just pulled up the article just to. So it's Soyuz 11.
Yep.
World's first space station, the Salyut 1. Oh, right. The crew capsule depressurized during preparations for re-entry.
Yep.
I feel like they thought that somewhere during like the undocking, like something happened with it, and
there was. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't their fault. It wasn't like it wasn't
No, of
negligence
course
on their.
not.
Well,
Yeah.
sometimes I mean, I don't mean necessarily in space, but I'm just speaking like aviation in general. Like, sometimes it is pilot
Oh
error.
yeah. Oh my gosh. Like Boeing. Ooh, Boeing has been really.
I don't speak of them.
Yeah.
Speak not.
Yeah, because it makes me sad too. Because I grew up loving that company so much. Right.
Same. I have. There's a lot of nostalgia for Boeing, and I'm just like, man, what the fuck are you doing? You've been fucking it up so bad.
It was since they put like the businessman in charge instead of like an engineer.
It's always been kind of like that, but I mean, they also have like their defense, part, and then they've got the commercial side.
Sure. Okay.
I feel like
Fault was
commercial,
traced.
the commercial, this is just me, like,
Yep.
like the commercial accidents.
So I
have
did
been-
remember that correctly. The fault was traced to a breathing ventilation valve located between the orbital module and the descent module that had been jolted open as the descent module separated from the service module 12 minutes and 3 seconds after retrofire. The two modules were held together by explosive bolts designed to fire sequentially. In fact, they had fired simultaneously. The explosive force of the simultaneous bolt firing caused the internal mechanism of the pressure equalization valve to loosen a seal that was usually discarded later and which normally allowed for automatic adjustment of the cabin pressure. So I guess they did fully release the results of their investigation.
Or, well, that's what they're telling us anyways.
Yeah, but that seems pretty.
That seems to me like, I don't, I mean, what else?
Yeah, that seems like a good explanation. Yeah. I wonder if they released it right away.
No, they didn't. They did not.
Yeah.
It was many years. That never serves me.
Yeah. And another sad thing, just about Apollo 1 is like if that hadn't happened, it would have been Gus Grissom would have been the first man on the moon.
Yeah.
History would have changed.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And to be honest with you, I've never really thought about like, I mean, besides the fact that well, it wouldn't be, you know, yeah, I never really thought about that.
Did you ever watch the Apple show For All Mankind?
I don't have Apple. I don't have a subscription to Apple. I'll have to check
Um,
it out. All right, I'll make a note of it. Maybe I can find it somewhere else.
yeah, I
I
highly
mean, we might
recommend
have
it.
Apple. I have Verizon. I have to ask my I have a family plan, so my sister runs it. I'll have to ask her. I don't think we get Apple through it.
Well, if there's a way for you to watch it, I highly recommend it. Do you know the premise?
No, no, I
So
don't think
it's
so. I feel like
it's
I've
an
seen advertisements for it, but I might be confusing it with something else.
yeah, so it's an alternate history of the space race where the Russians are the first to land on the moon, and so the space race
Mhm.
actually continues.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
it's
Oh, that's my
really
kind. You know.
cool. Yeah, it's probably my favorite show on television right now.
Oh
You
yeah.
really love it.
What was it called again? Let me get my pen. I'll write it down.
Yeah. Let me know when you're ready.
Where is there a pen? That's a good point. Yeah, because I forget shit like literally 3 seconds later.
And I can DM you a trailer if you want.
Yeah, just send it to me if you
Yeah.
can. Because I was just looking around. I'm like, oh man, I got like 1,000 sticky notes here. Fuck, I don't have
Yeah.
any paper.
It's gonna be like doing season 5 soon, and each
Okay.
season is like another decade. It's
Okay.
really cool.
That's nice.
Both my parents got way into it as well. Like it's a really
That's
good
nice.
show. And my friend who didn't like Star Trek, she got real into it as well.
Nice.
Yeah. Here. Check it out. Really, really well done. The acting is awesome. The show is awesome. It doesn't get it doesn't get a lot of love because it's on Apple, and you know how that goes. Not as many people watch Apple, but
Yeah, but my assumption has been, and like, yeah, I mean, I'll talk shit about Apple all day. I have no problem with that.
but the shows are pretty
but
good.
but I've always assumed that like because I've seen like advertisements for like I don't remember the names of the shows, but like stuff that like is like my kind of genre, and
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I don't have Apple, so I've always kind of just made this assumption, I don't really have anything to back it with, but that because it's Apple, that
It's like high
and
quality.
it's
Yeah.
going to be higher quality,
Yeah.
even though they don't have maybe the same viewer base, but like you're going to have a
Yeah.
higher quality.
And
At
my
least production
experience.
quality. It doesn't mean like the story.
Yeah,
Like
the production quality is great, but the writing on Apple shows is generally very good. Severance
Right.
is probably another one you would really like.
Okay. Yeah. Because my thing is like it's like Josh always be like, yeah, watch this. I'm like, dude, I got like a list of 50 things that I gotta watch or I gotta finish.
Yeah,
It's
if
like,
you have to
fine,
choose
fine.
one, go with For All Mankind. It's totally your jam. You're gonna love it. And also, this might not be totally your jam, but it's such a good show. Ted Lasso is so good. It's just so good.
Who's Ted Lasso?
Ted Lasso stars Jason Sudeikis. It won a ton of Emmys. He's an American football coach who moves to England to coach a soccer team, and it's just really funny. It's got a lot of heart, and like people
I
who
mean, like, yeah, I don't mind like a sports themed movie, like
Yeah.
when it's got like
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the
it's got
last
good
movie I've
writing.
seen.
Like it's not like you don't have to be a sports person
The
to
camaraderie,
Yeah.
I was gonna say Mighty Ducks, which is kind of
like
not
it.
fair, but,
That's
like,
a throwback.
yeah, Mighty Ducks, man, that's just solid. Or
Yeah.
like The Sandlot, or that's not really the
Classic,
same though. There's some other ones that
Invincible
like,
is a good one.
yeah.
Remember the Titans?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good.
There's a lot of really good sports movies that I love to watch from time to time.
Oh.
You got my DM though, right?
Oh, I don't know. My phone's just sitting on the table.
Gotcha.
The screen's off, so I'm sure I got it. Whew.
Yeah, you're really gonna like that show. Like, I'm obsessed with it. And there's like,
I-
especially later, and like throughout the whole thing, there's lots of geopolitical stuff, like between the U.S. and the Soviet Union. There's some espionage stuff. It's really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know, both of us sort of have connections to on both sides of that whole thing, and so I find it very interesting. You know.
Yeah. No, I can relate and understand on both sides. That doesn't mean
Yes.
that I support any one thing or another. It just simply means I understand
I understand both.
position.
I think my position on it though is kind of obvious. I'm not very good at hiding it.
Well, yeah, I get it. But I'm not. That's not to say though that I'm, like a sympathizer. Again, like at the end of the
Sure.
day, I mean, I appreciate and care about the culture and the country Russia.
100%. So do I.
And that would, like I think that, and same with China and a lot of other places.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I lived
again.
4 of my earliest, most formative years in Russia. Like, it's always gonna have a special place in my heart. You know.
So, but again, and we get. I mean, I've even thought about like, it's not even about making an argument, but like sometimes I've thought like, I think about Putin in his earlier career, and
Yeah.
I mean, now again, like we can just. Like well, it was KGB. Like, was it manipulation? This is all hard to say, but what I can say is it did seem to me that at least what we were presented with, like a lot of times, like in like at the UN or something like that, like it was just like kind of belittled, and so it makes
Sure.
you feel like makes you feel like not necessarily that it is.
Well,
That,
like I was there when he first became president, and he was totally different guy back then.
Yeah, I mean he was younger, but that doesn't mean that again he still had the well, I mean they're all it's nationalistic pride, it's ideology.
Well, I mean,
But
I think like patriotism, right, isn't too terrible. I'm
I
not
don't
as
either. But
I'm not as big of a fan of nationalism.
patriotism is also seems to be it's interchangeable. I mean, and I don't even know they don't really use I don't even hear that word used in the context of other countries. Well, we always hear those nationalism, which is
Sure.
demonized, and
Yeah.
it's fair enough because people who are nationalistic tend to be associated with
Well,
atrocities or crimes or corruption.
I do kind of personally have like a little distinction between them, if you'll grant me the opportunity to explain it. The way that I kind of see the difference is like patriotism is I love my country, I'm proud of my country, but that doesn't mean I demonize other countries as a result of that pride. Whereas I feel like nationalism does take that step to say, no, we are better than everybody else. We're always better than everybody else. Everybody else can go fuck themselves because we're better than everybody else.
Yeah, but that occurs. But this, it's. I think. I think. I think. I think that I like. I think that's a fair way to look at it. I don't know. It doesn't shake out like that. Like, and because
Well,
there's. I mean, there's
that's a very personal
Americans who are
definition, I think.
patriotic, but they're fucking.
Yeah, I do agree.
I mean, any right winger or MAGA person, and this isn't even
Yes.
about like this subjective interpretation of it. It's just
Sure.
more like, yeah. So you're gonna have that, but I would say like on a more meta level, like yeah, I would agree. But also with like the nationalism thing, I mean that's usually paired with, the revolutionaries, and which is
Yeah.
usually and
Not
this
so great.
usually
Yeah.
concerns their neighboring countries because they've been fighting, disputing over territory, killing each other, etc.
Well, we're about to see the results of a lot of nationalism over the next 4 years, so we'll see how that goes.
I mean, nationalism's been going on for a long time, but if you're talking about the United States, I mean,
Yeah, in the United States, I think. Because, yeah, there's been a lot of nationalism in the United States, but I don't think we've ever had a president who. I don't know if I would
well,
call
how's it?
Trump
I
a
mean, is it not
nationalist.
like? And again, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's my point is that when we talk about like patriot, I think I generally agree with like how you framed it. Like,
Yeah.
I think I don't think there's anything like that's incorrect, but I also think that nationalism, like fascism.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, I don't. No, I won't go. No, that's not. No, that's not fair to look at it that way. Nationalism, I think, is just overused, or it's just. I don't know. It just really depends. Like I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'll straight up admit, like, yeah, I'm very nationalistic,
Okay.
but my definition of that, doesn't carry with whatever, I guess, the general layperson's connotation of it is.
Sure.
I don't
That's
know.
fair. I consider myself to be a
It's
fierce
pride.
patriot.
It's pride,
Right.
really.
I have pride in the country that I'm from, that I grew up in. Well, at least part of it, right? I think part of that pride comes from having lived all over the world and seen how other countries are. And I think part of that pride comes from, the idea of okay, I'm from this place and I'm proud of the things that have happened in the place that I'm from, right? But I also love other countries. I appreciate other countries, and I want other countries to succeed. Even though it may not always seem like it, I do. um, and yeah, like that's what I consider to be my patriotism, right? I want the world to succeed, but I also want the world to succeed in what I believe is the right way.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I feel the same. Which I mean, so for me, that includes like patriotism. To me, doesn't mean unwavering loyalty.
Right.
Although it does, though,
Yeah.
because that's
The
that's what it
loyalty.
has.
Well, the
Although it
loyalty.
kind of it actually does, though.
Well, let me know if this is a good because I
Think
probably
about it
feel the
though. Every
same way.
document I've signed, every document I don't know. I guess she does. Every document I sign, it phrases it. I mean, again, that I
Like an
swear
oath, yeah.
under oath, like, and like my complete unwavering support
Sure.
for the United States, and
But
and denounce all
the
others.
way that I see it though is that loyalty is to the principles, not
Well,
like
you
the
have to
people in
remember, like, I come
charge.
from a military family, so
Yeah.
loyalty is like my number one. That's probably one of the most important
Yeah.
things in interpersonal relationships. And that sounds weird because loyalty can
Mm.
get tricky, but and that is exactly what the military is. Well, I mean, among other things. So
Well,
I'm very familiar with that, but and I don't have, and that's why I signed that. But I am saying at the same time though, from like a general perspective, it's like, yeah,
I think
patriotism,
I think I
but
relate to that somewhat.
if your patriotism, um, you'll be punished for, I mean, we do have, the right, to expression, speech, and some other things, but I don't know. I
Mhm.
guess it just depends.
Well, you you're always welcome to share your thoughts with me, dude. I'd love to chat about it.
No, I'm thinking aloud. Like,
Yeah.
I sign, I sign a lot of documents where like,
Yeah.
and I don't have a problem with that because I do. It's true.
Yeah.
And I like since it, so I mean, like with what's their name, Snowden, and what's his name?
Mm-hmm.
What my it's very simple. We can argue
Assange,
and
but
talk about.
Assange is a foreigner, right?
He's Australian.
I thought he was Swedish.
No, he's Australian. Why do you think Josh is obsessed with him?
Oh.
Besides, yeah, he's Australian, just like the bad empanada. They fucking
Oh, the thing that bothers me the most about Bad Empanada is that,
I don't want to.
well,
Go ahead,
just
I'm sorry.
and this isn't even that bad. You'll see. The thing that bothers me the most about Bad Empanada isn't even the shit that he says, is that he went to my other home country to get away from his. He went to
Oh,
Argentina.
I thought about that. Like when you
Yeah.
irritated me, I was like, you know what? And he's in Argentina now. and
Yeah.
yeah, he does look like he does look like Saddam in a fucking
Looks like
hole.
Fidel Castro.
And I don't know his background, and I don't fucking care. All I know is that I'm like, look, you pretentious fuck.
Yes.
Like, don't.
Yes.
I only watched a couple of videos, and of course, it had to be about what I told Josh explicitly. I promised him. I say, look, I'll run you through it. It's very fucking complicated, and I'm sorry, but and I'm gonna also speak to everybody that's not even here. That it's just like, look, if we're gonna talk about is there or is there not genocide and blah 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 blah
Oh,
blah blah
yeah,
blah blah,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
better fucking pull up. You better understand. Like, you tell me what the fucking law or what they say.
Yes.
it is.
This is what I say
don't
all the
care
time.
about your
This is what I say
your
all the
interpretation
time.
about it. Pull it up, and we need to go through it. And don't, because when you just say, well, this, that, or the other, I don't give a fuck.
Right?
What
Because,
does
like,
the law say?
people
What
talk about a
it's
moral
laid out, and if you don't like
interpretation.
that, then we'll discuss the law. But that's the thing. It's just like, well, it was made by a Jew and it was made to be intentionally vague. I'm like, I don't fucking care. It's
That's
the
what
law,
the law
right?
is. Like, I was talking to Josh about this, and I was like, and I made this argument, and he and I will have to circle back to it another day because it was a long time ago when we had the chat, and obviously he's done more thinking about it, and I want to talk to him about it again. But when we were talking about it, I said, look, here's the problem with the moral argument versus a legal argument. If two people don't agree on the morality of something, the only thing you have left to appeal to is the legal argument. So if you and I,
And by the way, there was what was very annoying about that was, like, the law is based on, like, morals,
it is.
moral
It is.
principles. They're acts, so they're intertwined, but what you're saying is correct.
Yeah. Well, of course, no, I 100% agree, right? The law
No, and I'm
itself is
just thinking
based
about
on
Josh.
morality.
Josh said something like really brain dead. He's like, like, I don't know. It was just I
The
was like,
original
what?
academic definition, which
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah. That part,
what?
I was like, and then like fucking 10. I'm like, oh my god, I can't take this.
And I was
anymore.
like,
I
but
can't
the
take it,
original.
Jared.
I was like, the original. How many things do you know of where the original academic definition is the current definition? Like,
I don't
how
care
many
about
things?
the academic definition either, because that's like having like sitting around like a bunch of douchebags, like having expensive coffee like on a Sunday morning. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't care.
It
Because
just,
like how we feel about it. Are you gonna go and fucking protest it? Are you gonna do
Yeah.
something about it? Otherwise, don't even talk about it if you don't even know what it is that they say.
it just felt
It's,
like it was
defined
a
as.
it was a
If you
cherry
can't tell me
picked.
the process, if you can't tell me like how they like that literally requires you read the case law
Yeah.
that you read, like, and that's a lot of fucking work. Like, this isn't just, oh, I'll just read, breeze through this in a couple of
No,
hours.
it takes a long time.
And yeah, of course there's
Hundreds of
fuckery in the
pages.
process. The process there's all kinds of problems.
Yeah.
But does that mean that then it's like, okay, so what? And the way all I saw was that shit with the empanada guy. I'm like, what so you trust me, bro, I read everything. And I'm like, so what are you, like, it was just dancing around. So what are you actually saying? That we should get, call it something else? Well, we have other, like, yes, there's war crimes for extermination, and they have a certain legal
Yes.
definition for that. And yes, it's
Yes.
particular. So when it's genocide, like, yeah,
Exactly.
yes, it comes across vague, but then you have to get into. And by the way, it takes them a while to get the evidence because they need
Yes.
bodies, they need actual
Takes
evidence.
years.
And guess what? It takes a while. This is what I say when they say they killed so many people. I'm like, just wait a few days.
But no,
Just
but the
wait
thing
on
is,
that,
like,
because
you don't even know that. You don't even know how many people they killed. You don't
this
know.
is my point. And if you're going to present this in court And not only that, you have to show that there was that this is basically to simplify it is this was premeditated, this was orchestrated, this was planned. This was
Intent.
this
That's the
the intent, and
biggest
that is
thing.
all. That is exactly what it is. That is the intent. The intent was to deliberately,
100%. That is the
you know,
difference between
displace these
war
people.
crimes and genocide.
And
Is
so
that
if
intent?
now the other side of it was, I think, you know, Thanos. I don't know what they were trying to say exactly. It's just like I think. So are you also saying then like, well, why isn't it seems that it's biased because wouldn't genocide technically then apply to pretty much anybody who's
Yeah.
done anything that falls under the vagueness?
Yes.
And you know, to me, I'm just like, okay, are you talking about going back to like when, you know, Australia was colonized?
Yeah.
Like I don't know, I don't know, and I do believe that there's cases that are brought before about stuff that happened back then. I don't have the expert. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. If you're talking about currently, most of the time it depends on the process, whether or
Yep.
not they even subscribe to the ICC.
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah. Jurisdiction is a
we
huge
told
part
them
of it.
fuck you when we like fucked over the Nicaraguans. We didn't give
Yep.
we gave zero shits. Israel was the only it was us. We're like, nah. And say like one can say what they will about it, but that's just again there's
I
more
think you'll
to it.
find this interesting as well was when Josh wrote out that academic definition. You know, his whole argument was that the intent doesn't matter. But if you read his definition,
I know that shit was driving me nuts.
that definition showed a need for intent, and I don't know if he recognized that. So the
And
definition that
again,
he was
like, I don't
saying,
care. Like, don't talk about my Balkan shit. Like, when you literally don't know. And that
I've
includes
learned
you and
so
all
much
of
better
you.
than to do that. I don't even
Yeah,
bring
like
it up.
don't even talk about it. I'm not even Bosnian. Like, so just it's not even about like
I don't
I'm
know
personally
anything
offended.
about it.
It's offensive, and it's not because I'm like, oh, because you said genocide. I'm like, no, this is some disingenuous, weird, just trashy shit this guy does. The
The
way he
only
talks is
thing
just
that I know is that I was living in Russia when it was happening, and there were protests outside of the embassy. That's all I know.
yeah. Yeah, that doesn't spread. I mean, most people don't, and it's fine. And there was a lot of fuckery. Like, there's still charges, you know, that are out there. Like, it was just it. So when you say like, and this is the last I'm gonna say because like I've been knee deep in this stuff, you know, like getting my mom's shit sorted out, and a bunch of other things I don't want to get
I
into.
hope you
But
teach me all about it at some point because I want to learn all the
it's
stuff you know.
I
Whenever
mean.
you feel ready for it. Like I don't want to.
I mean, see, the thing is, if we want to do like a true history lesson, it's like, well, we got to go back, you know,
Dude, I love that
basically,
shit. I love getting into the weeds. Are you kidding me?
yeah, because I mean, there's going to be lots of massacres, ethnic cleansing, and genocides along
Of
the way, because
course.
that's what Balkans is. You know, we all do that. We've been doing that for a
Yeah.
long time, and so is everybody else, by the way.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Like human
So
history
there's some
is
deep hatred going
splattered
on. We
with
started World
bloodshed.
War One and World War Two. You know why? Because it was a string of assassinations between you know, these monarchy families that had
Mm,
been going on for, you know, the previous 50 years,
right.
just back to back, assassinating each other, and then it was like the final straw.
Yeah.
There was
Wow.
other things that happened, but yeah. And so when somebody comes in, I've never seen this shithead. He comes in, he's some Moncadonian coming in with an Aussie accent. I'm like, who am I listening to? And they're
Looking
like,
like Fidel
genocide is
Castro.
stupid. And I'm like, look, if you're trying to be edgy, bro, like, I don't like, just be clear with what you're saying.
Well, he's also like
Be-
super audience captured. So even if he didn't think it, which I do think he does think it, but even if he didn't, he couldn't allow himself to have a more reasonable opinion of it
What
because
I
he
don't
now.
understand is he's attacking. Well, first of all, fuck Ethan Klein, but but he is now simultaneously. I don't watch this band. I noticed like, well, now he's making these videos about them, and like, you know, talking about he was a terrorist, you know, like, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
and
and
the
the
Ethan Klein
genocide
and
in Gaza. I'm
Gila
like,
have
well,
been
wait a
pretty
minute.
critical of
You just
Israel
put out a
for a long
video that
time.
said Bosnia genocide is stupid. Genocide is stupid. Bosnia genocide is stupid, and now you're literally like all over that. all I know is you're just a fucking. You're just trying to. You're just a grifter. You're making money. You're just trying to make that money.
100%.
Your whole setup, your shtick here is very obvious.
I call him the
Like, this is
YouTube
just a
Norm
money grab.
Finkelstein.
Why the fuck are you in Argentina? I don't know. Sounds sus. It's probably because you got into some kind of trouble. You had to.
It's
you know,
really weird to me.
You're not over there just having a good time. You're there for a reason.
But it also
you had
kind
to
of
leave.
makes me laugh a little bit because he's like a total tanky communist, and the president of Argentina is an anarcho-capitalist.
He's fucking. Well, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be real fun. But I don't know. I don't know that guy, but all he just reeks of like, yeah, when you talk that kind of like in that kind of way about stuff. And it's not because I'm personally like, you can make a case for, we can talk about like, those points.
Yeah,
It's
but
just
like
the way
when
it's presented,
everything,
and
yeah, yes,
it's
100%.
very disingenuous. And if you say the
100%, it's
genocide in
manipulative.
Bosnia, I'm like, which one? What are you talking about?
So like when
Because there was events that occurred in Bosnia. There was one particular event where individuals were charged with genocide. But then there was Slobodan. There was Croats.
Yeah.
Like it was the entire decade.
when we were
So
in
when you say
Russia,
Bosnia, it's like, well, what are you even fucking talking about?
when we were
And
living
then
in
there was other
Russia,
events in the world, like there was other things. I'm just strictly speaking there.
right?
You had the Gulf. You had the
Yep.
Kurds. You had there's so much. Israel was
the
doing a
poor
bunch of shit
Kurds.
too.
Of course, Israel's done a bunch of shit.
Yeah, we're always in a bunch of shit.
I mean, Israel has done a bunch of shit, and Israel has had a bunch of shit done to it. It goes back and forth in that region of the world.
Well,
over
yeah,
and
I
over
know.
and over
I mean,
again.
it's the
Yeah.
same thing. It's just it's the same. It's not that different than the Balkans, except you guys don't have fun with the racism anymore.
It's
did.
not fun. It's really fucked up.
Dude, we just roll. We just.
You
That's why we're racist as shit, because we're all racist because we know.
because
It's a
we're
code.
fucking scared shitless, right? Because racism, when it comes to Jews,
Dude, you have no idea. Like, Hitler told us that we were so fucking brutal. Like, he was like, "Stay the fuck away from me." He was like, "Dude, you guys are nuts." But dude, the Serbs were killing us for fucking centuries.
yeah.
So it's
dude.
been going on for a long time. All right.
Mhm.
Yes.
Hey man,
It's-
as a Jew, we know what that's like. We've been getting fucked forever. I remember
Ottomans, Byzantines,
Yup.
the Persians, the fucking Turks, goddamn
the
Turks.
Romans.
Yeah, well,
Spanish.
We were cool with the Romans. We didn't.
Oh, we weren't. They
shit-
didn't like us.
Oh, yeah, we didn't really like you. Well, no, that's not true.
It's okay. It's okay. Nobody liked us. It's okay.
No, that's not
it's
true.
like
No, because we have Bosniaks, right?
The
The whole point
Russians.
was that the Catholics and and Bosniaks get along. The thing is that the ethnic makeup is the Muslims, the big dick Orthodox motherfuckers, the Serbs. That's just silly shit. And then Croats are like Catholic, just 97%. And so white Croats. I know that sounds. Don't take that as like some nationalism or white pride thing. It's just
No,
literally
no.
the particular South Slavic populations that came in
Sure.
from like more if you like in like Germanic side.
Yeah.
Germanic is what is it? Baltic, not Baltic. Excuse me. Scandinavian.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
Whereas
for us,
you have the like Middle Eastern influence.
you drop us anywhere, eventually we're gonna get scapegoated at some point. That's just kind of our history.
I mean, because you guys just were roaming around,
Yeah, well, we
showing
assimilate
up
a
in
little bit.
troves, and then everybody was like, "Hey, we don't like you," because that's
Yeah,
how
well,
how it goes.
we tend to do well in other societies, but we don't really culturally assimilate. so we never kind of
Well, yeah,
stop
when
being
you're
viewed
yeah,
as
so when there's a population or people that are different from you and they're
Mhm.
doing well and you're not doing well, you're
and
always
they don't like
I'm not
try
saying
to
it's a good
really.
reason. I'm just saying it's just the
No, that's just
simplest.
how it works. That's just how it works.
Yeah, when you
And
have other people that are in your vicinity, it doesn't matter if they're Jews.
yeah,
It's just like,
the
and
reason it happens so often with Jews is because of the diaspora. We were kicked
yeah,
out of Israel a long ass time ago, and we've
that's what I'm
just kind
saying.
of
You
been
didn't have a
going from
home. You
place to
guys were
place.
wandering around and shit,
Exactly.
showing up in our cities.
Yeah.
Well, you got along like I said. The interesting thing with the Balkans was there was and like including the Jews now
Hmm.
when World War I or was it two? Well, there was, a deliberate burning of like a very famous synagogue there. I don't know. That did eventually come
And
into play, but
pogroms are
yeah,
pretty
Nazi stuff.
commonplace. Yeah.
Nazis, they're like, and you have to be careful reading about it because there's so much revisionism, propaganda. Don't look at any
Ugh.
Wikipedia. It's very bad. It's always been that way.
Yeah.
I have like about 50 books on the subject and thousands of
Whoa.
articles that were printed out. Like, I don't.
The
If you try to go
articles from
read
the
like what
time I would be very interested to look at. That's
I have
very
tons of
interesting.
them, I'll send some
Yeah.
to you sometime.
Please.
Because
Yeah.
if you check the internet, like the only other sources that you get are in Serbo-Croat, and
Hmm.
it's it's a pain in the ass to get it translated. Like
Hmm.
there's apps that can do it sort of, but it's not. It's difficult, and like I said, it is rife. And I mean, like the Kosovo shit, the Serbia shit, like
Yeah.
Bosnia's like about to fucking explode. Like I don't know, like it's getting pretty spicy over there. The Turks, I don't know what the fuck they're doing, but they're always up to no good.
The Kurds look like they're about to go through it again in Syria as well.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it's not
Man,
good.
Syria, that whole region is just like, because now that Iran and Russia are distracted by, Israel and Ukraine,
Yeah.
everything's popping off in Syria again. Because Assad isn't going to get the support that he normally would get from Iran and Russia. And
Yeah.
so the rebels are sort of taking an opportunity to rise up against him, which is good because Assad sucks. But unfortunately, the group that's rising up against him isn't the
Yeah.
Kurds. It's the crazy ones. It's the Islamist crazy ones.
This is the thing. Like, I love the Kurds, but they're fucking crazy desert people. They they have their own autonomous. I don't know what they call. It's like their own, but it's not a country. It's not.
Yeah.
But like their own place, and like but goddamn, do they? It's like they fortify that shit there. I mean, I wouldn't want
Yeah.
to fuck with them.
But the crazy thing is like these rebels right now that just went into Aleppo. This is like a lot of them are leftover ISIS, so they're pretty crazy. So it's definitely very
Yeah.
worrying, which is
So they're just
why.
and not only that, they're just like probably just it's almost like contract for hire shit at this
Yeah,
point.
totally. And so the
Or
crazy
just going
thing
where you
is,
can be accepted, which means like
like our backed like the U.S. backed Kurds, this would be the right time for them to sort of enter the fray again and try to fight against Assad and these other rebels. But the problem is we have a president coming in who abandoned the fuck out of them back
well,
in.
not only there's a ton of uncertainty. We just don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, yeah, Trump is like adds like so much more of that uncertainty equation, but I think just with all the
There's
again,
just a lot
it's
of
like
global
how are we gonna
instability
spread our
right now.
resources out? We got problems with operational readiness, retention. That doesn't mean that we're disabled or anything militarily, but
No. Well, one of the
it's still
positives.
everybody's very critical about it. What I will say is that like defense isn't going to be affected. Intelligence,
Do you think positively or
they won't be
negatively?
affected. They'll be fine.
Do you think because I'm thinking one of the potential positives is
Affected them in budget wise, like monetarily.
yeah, like there'll be more input in the right places in military to update a lot of our outdated shit and stuff like that.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. We'll see who ends up being the
it's-
Secretary of Defense, because it looks like Hegseth is not going to get through confirmation.
Hmm.
which is
Yeah,
good
we'll see.
because
Yeah, the modernization efforts have been going on for a long time. It's tricky. It's a little more difficult, like with DoD systems. But yeah, I mean, they're definitely behind.
do you
Those
know
programs are underfunded, even though that, seems strange to say considering, like, the entire budget, but people kind of get confused with, again, like how allocations work and stuff.
do you know who my mom told me she's hearing rumors about being a replacement nominee for Hegseth?
Mm.
Ugh,
Mm.
DeSantis.
W- I thought, hmm, hmm.
I really
I
hope
mean,
it's not him.
I don't know, RFK's, they're not gonna have,
For
well, he
Sec
couldn't get the,
Def? No. RFK? No way.
no, I was gonna say, he's not him, not him. You said DeSantis, yeah?
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm
DeSantis
hearing.
could be appointed into that position,
But
not like
like,
RFK.
that would be a terrible choice. That'd be even a worse choice,
No, it
I
would
think,
be.
than
I don't think he would
than
do that. I don't
Hegseth,
think.
because
I don't.
he's
I thought he didn't like him. I thought they were beefing or something.
yeah, but like
I
he'll
thought he was.
if he can bring in DeSantis, who is really well liked in Florida, and like make
Yeah, but
him
I thought
his
he
little
doesn't like
puppet.
DeSantis. I thought they
He
had like
he doesn't,
not
but he
cool.
doesn't like Marco Rubio either. You know, and he's gonna be
Marco
sex state.
Rubio. I don't like him, but like he's been like he's like what the Senate Intelligence Committee
Yeah,
chair. I mean,
foreign
I
foreign
read his stuff. I read like the
foreign relations.
NDAA.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he seems, I mean, as far as what's available to the public, like,
Of all of the
just
choices, he seems the least crazy.
he like no. I read the defense like the minute, like I read the whole thing, like, and I mean, to me, it's
He's at least a
but this is also a
competent guy.
reminder that these people, like, how they portray themselves in one light is a little bit
Yeah.
different.
But like also like when my mom was in Cuba, she did a lot of work with him, and she said
Mhm.
he was actually pretty good to work with in that situation. So from the
Yeah.
from her
When it's
personal
not like,
experience,
yeah, when cameras aren't on these people, like they're a little bit different. I'm not like excusing
Yeah.
or saying they're like, okay,
yeah,
like
no,
trust
for
me.
sure, for sure, for sure.
You
So
know,
I'm
like,
just
I
hoping
have
that
problems. They're all fucked.
I'm just
in my
hoping that
opinion.
that means he's going to be a reasonable Secretary of State. And he
I think
does.
he would be. I think, like, I mean, considering all things considered,
He's got a lot of foreign relations experience on that committee. So
yeah, it's better
yeah.
than like other ones.
Yeah,
Ugh.
Cash Patel for the
Yeah, like other
FBI.
weirdos. I don't even
Oh
want to think
my
about
God.
it.
What is that, dude? And then of course this whole Doge thing, and I'm like, look,
Is
cutting
that the like that Elon bullshit?
Elon and Vivek, look, like cutting
That's
waste
it.
in the
I don't
government.
know. Like, yeah, that shit is just like, I don't know. I mean,
Cutting
they're
waste in the
weird.
government is fine. Like I'm all for streamlining waste from the
We
government.
already
Like
do
that's
that.
fine.
Listen, we have the Government Accountability Office.
We do.
We have like within the departments, we have our own like IG. Like we have these. So I don't,
But like,
they just want to go.
let's say just
They're
for the
just gonna do a
hypothetical.
deregulation agenda. That's all it is.
Yes,
That's all they can do.
exactly. This is
is
an
what Republicans
entirely
typically do.
massive conflict of interest to have Elon Musk in a
My other
position
problem
like that.
is that Elon owns telecommunications. He owns space shit, and like now he's in the government with like IDIQ contracts, and now he's like, I don't know what exactly he's gonna be, what position how they're working him in. Like I
He
don't.
won't
He
actually
might
be a
be.
government
He might be a
employee.
contractor or a consultant. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think
So
he's.
Doge is technically not going to be a government department.
Yeah, I just don't see how they could do that. So, but there's still like a massive like what the like.
It's huge conflict of interest. There's
Yeah,
the
I'm like, how
ethics
is
are
this?
all kinds of fucked up.
Yeah, there's just like, look, like this shit happens, but I'm like, this is just so blatant, and like I said, and he owns, he, like with the Starlink thing, I'm not gonna like get into the tech itself, although it has issues. It's very jittery. It like jumps
Sure.
around like
Sure,
based on
sure.
like how it works. But the point being, like, what I see there, I mean, with his aggressive pushing of that, like,
I
and
mean, this is
like I said,
making him into an oligarch. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of my problem with that. It's just that I'm like, okay, well, hold on a second. I mean, and there's other competitors and stuff, but like once you start again, like and this is generally covered by federal acquisition regulations and a slew of other things.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like, look, like, like internally in the government, like things happen, like we make contract award, there are some ethical gray lines, obviously, and I'm not getting into clandestine or other, you know,
Sure.
out of the public's view things. I'm just
Sure,
talking
sure,
about
sure,
just
sure.
general operations. And, sometimes, I mean, it's, we'll make decisions like, awards and things like that because it really makes the best sense versus like so I
Yeah.
might like do like I might put out full and open competition full well knowing that I am going to award the contractor this
Yeah,
particular
exactly.
contract
And I'll be honest,
because they were the previous incumbent, and like I can
yeah,
easily justify this, like as long as like and if somebody does come in and competes on best price, best quality, then great. But
I am
we kind of already
actually
know that, and sometimes it's in our best interest to do that.
really, really concerned about the sorts of things someone like Elon Musk might have security access to in a position like that, and the things he might
Yeah.
decide to make public. That's very concerning to me. And I think
Yeah,
you would
I
agree
mean,
with
his
that.
behavior has been very indicative of that. I think that, I mean, it doesn't help. Listen, like the whole like presidents taking home classified documents. I mean, that's always been a thing. So when Biden got in trouble, like all these motherfuckers have done that. Like,
Yeah, I mean
this is the thing.
that wasn't the problem. I think the big problem was that he dicked
Well,
them
now we're talking
around
about
for a
Trump. Like
year.
Trump is
Yeah.
the bigger issue with. Well, I mean, even though Biden like it didn't look good, it's like there were my Corvette somewhere in my old garage.
Yeah, but he
It's like I
cooperated immediately,
Yeah,
right?
I know, but I'm just saying it's like yeah, it's still kind of like they're from a typical person, like forget about the politics of it. It's just like it's just they're in my Corvette somewhere. It's like yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
the
kind of
president's
dumb.
do, but it's not unique to him. Like every president has done that. Like
No,
it
doing that
happens.
is
It
not
happens.
unique to Trump. The part that is unique to Trump,
But Trump, I mean, Trump is it's not. See, it's like they find some documents because when you're in these like positions for so long, like I have classified
sure, of
I don't
course.
know what I'm talking about. Never mind. I have things, and like it happens. It's not a big deal.
Yes.
It's just
But
well, and I'm not.
I do think, and then you tell me what you think about this. So let me just say this real quick. I do think the thing that was different was there's a couple things. Number one, when they said we need to check for the classified documents, he was moving things around. He took an
Oh, I know.
entire
He
year.
deliberately no. He
Yeah,
was he was a
he was
schmuck about it.
hiding them.
I'm just
Yeah,
explaining like
but
yes.
then there
Sometimes
was
they end
that.
up
Well,
they
one
end
more
up
thing before you
places.
say it, real
He
quick.
was like hoarding them and being so
Yeah,
negligent and
exactly.
like
But also, like,
greedy
there's
with
that
it.
recording. There's that recording of him talking about
Um,
it and showing the files to somebody. You remember that?
mm-hmm. Yeah.
That shit was crazy.
Well, the whole sentiment in DC is just like because again, he's a business, he's a CEO man. Like he's
Yeah.
not. I know this sounds cringe. It's not like it's like one of us, but like it just doesn't fit him. Now, on the other hand, like I also was hoping, or you can see positives with that because it's like, well, I mean, bringing somebody in because I mean, me being a business, minded person
Sure.
myself, I
Originally
mean,
in
because the politics
2016,
do get fucking old. That's why you
yeah,
come.
when he won in 2016, I spent a couple hours on the phone with my friend. We're like, well, maybe it won't be so bad. Maybe he'll
Yeah, I mean,
make
he's a
things
lot. He's got like a
better.
fucking sailor's mouth. Like, yeah, he's not
Yeah,
appropriate, but like, I
it
mean,
didn't turn out
look,
so
like,
well
make
though.
your deals, like, get shit done.
But he couldn't. That's the thing, is he couldn't
Yeah.
at the end of the day. He couldn't make the deals. He couldn't get shit done, right? And
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at it. It's like we can point at blunders, but it's like, I mean, things happen like they happened in the previous administration and the
Sure.
previous administration.
Sure. Well,
And
there's
it's
always
kind of like
things happen in every
the biggest thing
administration.
is like he was so unprofessional and
He made us
just
look bad in
and
front of
like
our
just
allies.
insecure
That's not
about
good.
himself. That's the problem.
you know, as someone from like my background or my family's background, the hits to our diplomacy was really fucked up to me.
Yeah, and you
right?
guys has been sucking at diplomacy since like forever. I'm
Yeah.
sorry I said this so aggressively, but it is frustrating sometimes. I know you try, and like I have a real soft spot for it, but we seem to always end up bombing each other and getting into war.
Well,
I'm not
'cause,
saying
like,
it's one person or another's
I just
fault,
wish it
but-
was. I just wish it was like, you know. There's so many levels of complexity to these situations.
I know that. No, I'm fully aware
Yeah.
of that. Like, I mean, I went to the embassies all the time. Again,
Yeah.
both my parents, also worked in these spaces, so like I'm very familiar with it. It's just unfortunate.
It is super unfortunate.
I know you guys do a lot of, like you get work, but the thing is that a lot of stuff isn't reported because we're not reporting on day to day. Like, okay, well, you met with so and so, and like so, like progress in that respect.
Mhm.
It's more that it's reported that, okay, diplomacy, diplomacy has failed.
Unfortunately,
there's a
so
war
much
or
of it has
bombs are
to
being
stay
dropped.
classified, right? Like my mom has.
I understand.
Like I can't talk about some of the stuff that I know that my mom has done with her job right now, right? Because of the tenuous deals we have with the Taliban, for example. But she works hard, she does all this great stuff, and the public doesn't even really get to know about it. And that sucks because there are
insane.
victories that we have. And you know, exactly, right? And there are victories that we have, but the public.
But we don't get. There's no awards for that. I mean,
No.
not.
Well, there
as far
are.
as
You just
everyone-
don't. Yeah, you're just.
I know, that's the thing, not as far as everyone else is concerned.
Yeah.
And that's and there's really, and that includes death as well.
Yeah.
That's also kind of
You
sad.
get like
That's
like
very
like at
unfortunate.
like the wall at Langley, right?
Yeah.
That's the saddest thing to me. Whenever I
Mhm.
see those stars on the wall, and I'm like, these people who don't have a name as far as we're concerned, but who died in service to our country, and the only way
Still,
the
people
rest
are
of us
very
know.
over out there too. I mean,
Yeah.
and I'm not. Again, that's not a statement or a call to action. It's just yeah.
Yeah.
I work with a lot of like former operators, or
Sure.
I'm friends with a lot of those people, and it's and then like the nice thing about my grandfather, my father, and really my whole family, they were avid photographers, so they're very good about documenting things. So I was very much, and then of course with the things on my mom's side, it was very interwoven into my life. But
Yeah.
anyway,
And I just,
it is what it
obviously.
is. I don't regret or have any. qualms
I
about
mean,
it.
like military and diplomacy, I do see as like two sides of the same coin, right? We do a lot of the same. Our whole thing is international relations, and it's just two different types of international relations, right?
Well, yeah. I mean,
I feel like you want to add more to that.
yeah, I feel like I'm gonna just segue into. So you know why you pissed everybody off in the server, right?
Go for it.
You don't piss them off, but
Go ahead.
I mean, no, I'm asking you, right? Like, they're reacting to the America stuff.
Yeah.
It's extra, and
But
the
I
Israel
don't
stuff.
even feel like it's that extra. Because like if it's just extra because they're constantly always talking about the negative.
I know you both do. No, actually, it's all of you. You're all annoying about it.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Like I
it's
try
ridiculous.
to be.
I read
try to
Daniel's
be
stuff and it's like
understated about it.
intelligent for a moment, and then it's just like, and then it's got this vulgar, gross shit like interjected
Yeah.
in it. And I'm like, why do you guys do this? I don't know. Like,
But honestly,
you've been better the last few days.
Yeah,
It's, like,
I
been a
try.
little
I
slower.
try. I mean, well, the thing is, like like I see like the.
If you
really,
wake up every
really-
day, I'm just saying, I'm not accusing you of like
I know,
anything, but like if you
are.
wake up every day, like it comes across like when I look at it, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? But it's been better, I suppose. And
Because I'm
Leo's
trying to
terrible
find
about
like
it.
I'm trying to find like a better way to communicate with them is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah,
Because
but you talk about Destiny all the goddamn time.
what is, I mean, like I
I mean,
feel like I don't even
Destiny's
talk
kinda
about it
fucked.
that much.
Destiny's got a
I talk about him
dude.
sometimes because there's like interesting
No,
conversations,
man,
but
you've been talking about it. Don't make me like gotta pull receipts here.
I
Like,
mean,
what are you talking
yeah,
about?
go for it. Pull receipts. I feel like I don't talk
Nah,
about him that
man.
much.
Like, I'm just saying. I think that you watch too much Destiny, and you should chill on that. You
Okay,
should.
forget about Destiny for a second, right? I
But
just want to talk about
that's
the
why you brought
content.
in your Destiny friends, and that's fine. It just,
Well, I
I
talk
think that
about him with them because we're often in there watching him together,
I
and then we're
know,
talking
and that's a
about what
little,
we're watching.
and that's too much watch time. You should,
but
you
like,
should chill. He's kind
but
of
like,
fucked, man. I'm
I
telling you,
I
like
get a
he's
lot of
lost
people
his
feel
mind.
that way.
He's losing it. Like he lost it. I mean, I was never crazy about him. I didn't dislike him. I watched his stuff, but like I
Sure.
don't know. He's kind of in another dimension anymore. And you're obsessed with Hassan. Yeah, Hassan sucks dick. Like I don't like him either.
I I I I mean, we talk about Hassan when it comes up. We don't really talk about him.
Which
Other than
is
that.
well, maybe my perceptions are all fucked up because it seems
I
like every
think I
time I
think
check
there is a
in,
little bit of
that's
like
all I
selection
see.
bias here, just a little bit, right? Like
Not
as you see
really,
it.
because his dicks are like weird shit. There other times. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel
Dang.
like it stands out because you're definitely looking for it at this point. I think
What are you talking about? I'm looking for it. It's there. It's
No,
there.
just hang on. Just
I
stick
like
with me
scroll
for a
back and
second.
I'm like, so what has
Stick with
happened
me
the
for a
last 2
second.
hours?
I'm not gonna say that we don't talk about him because we obviously do, right?
And I'm just saying that I just think personally, for your own well-being, you should chill. You shouldn't watch him.
Well, I haven't been watching him like every day like I did before. If that makes you feel better.
Yeah, actually
yeah,
it does. Oh my
yeah.
god.
Yeah. But
You
a
don't
big
just,
part of it.
just, yeah.
Understand, like a big part of it too is like the community in there is a really interesting place. There's a lot of people who disagree.
I know, Jordan. I've observed it from
Yeah.
I've observed it from the goddamn stands. But listen, I'm just saying, why did you try to convince Josh to feel empathetic for like Kyle Rittenhouse? That was a bizarre thing that he told me.
Why?
I'm
Because he
wondering.
was just a 17-year-old kid in a shitty situation.
Why did you even bring him up? That happened like a couple of years ago.
Well, because it's I don't even know how it came up in the conversation. But
Yeah,
it came
that's
up in the
very weird. You know
conversation.
he's in Australia, right?
Yeah, I don't understand why. I think it was something about like, hey, we need to all find more ways to just empathize with people that we disagree with.
But
a
you
bit
can't
more.
tell somebody to like I bet I can convince you to like empathize with a person. That's like a weird
I
kind of.
didn't say that.
Well, he kind of, I don't know how he exactly worded it, but that's the way it sounded. Whatever.
that's
he told
not- I
me.
mean,
And I'm
that's
not
not what's-
accusing you of anything. I'm just curious. That's all.
No, honestly, it was just because I was getting frustrated with the way that people hate each other so much nowadays, and I wanted to see people be more willing to
Well, what
like.
does it have to do with Kyle Rittenhouse?
Well, because I thought that was a really obvious example where people were like, he's a clear target for a lot of people that hated him, and so when I looked at it, it was something that I sort of departed with on a lot of like the left that I normally agree with most things on.
Yeah, it's just I just thought it was interesting. It came back because I'm like, well, that was like a couple of years ago. So I was thinking like maybe something happened recently. It came up again.
No, nothing. It just came to mind as
Because
like
Josh is not
an
going to
example.
be able to exactly. I don't know what your positions are on it. I mean, when it happened, I mean, I was just like, oh, this is what in my mind I was like, this is what's going to go down in court. He's not going to be. He'll be fine, and it's and he was.
Oh no, I remember what it was. I remember exactly what it was. It was because of do you remember when Tim Walz was making that speech and his son was crying and like all the Republicans were making a lot of fun of it? And I was like, I don't like that. And I was like, but also like I understand how they feel.
Wait, I don't know what about Tim Walz's kid was crying and it was in a crowd of people.
Yeah.
What happened?
So what happened was during Tim Walz's speech at the DNC.
I don't know which speech. I saw him like do the one where he's talking about pheasants and shotguns.
Anyway, he was talking about his family, right? And they cut to his son, and his son was like crying like tears of joy for his dad and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Yeah, and Republicans were just ripping on him, like being really, really terrible towards him.
To the kid.
And, yeah, to the kid. It was pretty fucked. And I was like,
Okay.
man, that really sucks. I don't like that. And Josh was like, yeah, I
I don't
agree.
like that
That's
either.
really
But
fucked
what
up.
was there any other meaning behind that, or were they just making fun of him because he's crying?
They were just making fun of him because he was crying, and then a lot of them were bringing up, well, y'all were talking shit about Kyle Rittenhouse in a similar situation when he was there, and they're like the same age when he was in court crying, and so
I
that
remember
was
him
how it
crying
came
in
up.
court. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I remember that. I
And-
didn't.
And so I was making that comparison, and that's how we kind of
I
got into the
sympathized
conversation.
with his, like, I know why. I don't. That's not that focal point. Like, he was emotionally affected by it. I agree, and it's not really a negative or positive thing for me. As I understand.
Yeah, so do I.
It
And
di-
that was all I was trying to illustrate to Josh, which is that, like, hey, look, they were all pissed off because of the way we treated Kyle Rittenhouse, and the way that they came out and dealt with that was by treating this kid like shit. That's not okay, right? That's not excusable.
You're
But
talking
it's
about. I mean, because for my own, I don't know what you get. Like, for me, it was just more like, I mean, he should. In my personal opinion, I don't think that he should have been there in the first place.
I don't think so either. I don't think he should have been there in the first
You know,
place
you
either.
kind of. But am I going to go so far to say like he deserved that? No, but like.
Right. That's it.
He
That's
did put
that's all I'm
himself.
saying.
He put himself in a dangerous
I
situation.
100
and
I
that's the
100%
unfortunate
agree with you.
result.
I 100% agree with
But
you.
legally, like it was self-defense.
It was, dude. You just completely
I
described my
watched it
position.
and I'm like, yeah, that's what. You know,
Yeah.
that's what
and
it is.
and I
so
couldn't. And when I saw the kid
from
crying
Josh's
in
perspective,
court,
when he sees him crying, he doesn't have empathy, or like he doesn't seem to have. I can answer for him, is because he's just very critical on people who make
Right.
people who make poor decisions,
sure.
in highly dangerous or highly risky situations.
And I get that, and I get all of that, right? Like none of that is lost on me. I 100% agree. But regardless of all of that, if I see a kid who made a dumb choice, and we all make fucking dumb choices when we're kids, right?
Well, remember, I get it. Like, I'm moved by emotions as well. Like,
Yeah.
in fact, probably a lot more so than, it would seem for, like
And
my
that's-
peers. But
And sort of, so that was where
And I
that's
get
where that
that,
came
but-
from. That's where that conversation came from. So it wasn't like anything about Destiny or anything like that. It was that we saw Tim
I'm
Walz's
just
kid.
speculating that it came up because, you got Destiny brain.
No, it's got nothing to do with Destiny.
But
It
he
was
talked about it forever,
I know
I
he
don't
did
know.
talk about it forever, but in this case it wasn't.
Oh, I don't
about
know,
him.
Jordan. Like,
No, I swear to God,
just-
I swear
I
to
think
God,
you
it's got
got
nothing to do with
Destiny
him.
brain worms,
I swear to God, it's got nothing to do with him. When I saw
You
them,
just organically brought up Kyle right now.
no,
So,
like I
let's
said,
talk about it.
when I saw them making fun of Tim Walz's kid, and in like all
Oh,
the
yeah, that's right,
comments,
Empire,
yeah,
yeah.
and they were in all the comments they were talking. Well, y'all motherfuckers were laughing at Kyle Rittenhouse. That was how that conversation started with Josh, and I was like,
Oh, so
yeah,
some
that really
people in
sucks.
an audience, like in a chat, like war were.
It was
like,
super
well, You're
widespread.
making fun of him, but like,
No, it
well,
was
what
super
about when he
widespread.
cried?
It was like all over like the internet at that point. That's like what they were
Yeah,
all
sounds
saying.
pretty lame.
Yeah, it's pretty lame. I didn't like it, but like I also wanted to say, my overall point was like, hey, maybe if we just tried to have a little bit more empathy or even sympathy, right? Maybe we could avoid these sorts of situations. I'm not saying that that's a blanket statement, right? Like sometimes people do deserve to be called out for
I
shit
guess
and
what
talked
I'm
about.
thinking is, I'm thinking about like, because I'm usually, again, like I'm more, sympathetic and empathetic towards, usually the accused, but when even when they're guilty. But anyway,
Same.
with Kyle Rittenhouse, I'm just thinking back, like, about, I saw the case. Like I said, in my mind, like, when I heard the facts, I was like, this is how, I'm not trying to, like, make a statement that I'm, like a magic feature ball or something. But it
Mhm.
was just pretty obvious what was gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean,
And
he
I did
shouldn't
see
have
him
been there.
cry, but I didn't feel, I'm gonna be honest with you, which now I'm thinking about it. I mean, I don't know if I'm supposed to interpret that as unusual because I am, I'm very critical of like I body language, emotional expression,
Mhm.
everything about just visual, nonverbals.
Mhm.
So anyway, I'm thinking back on it, and I think, I just remember seeing it, but I wasn't especially emotionally moved by it. I just
I
remember
wasn't
just
at the
thinking more
time. I
kind
I
of just
was moved by it
kind of
later, I
just like
think.
I understand, like I get it. If I was in the kids, like I get it.
Yeah.
I didn't like interpret it as like some kind of like show or like something
No, it felt
disingenuous or over the
genuine.
top.
Yeah, it felt genuine.
But it didn't like bring about any like kind of uh, I don't know that sympathy. I don't know that. Again, it was just more. I understand.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, to sum up my
it's an
own
understandable
feelings,
reaction,
yeah,
but
to sum
it
up my
wouldn't
own
have been
feelings,
mine.
the extent of it for me was kind of feel bad for the kid. That kind of sucks. To go through all of
Mm.
that shit and then have all your shit thrown in front of the whole
I
country
guess,
and have
from
everybody talking
Josh's
shit about you.
perspective, and sometimes I feel this way about it too. I mean, maybe it's more that, again, guns.
Yeah.
A kid with a gun and people died, and I
Yeah,
mean,
but like it's not is it really he's 17, like he's 17 years
I
old,
get
you
it,
know?
but I get it, but
He's raised in the culture he's raised in.
how?
How much can we really put on him at that point where we should be probably putting the responsibility more on his parents?
I mean, I would agree.
Yeah.
So, but they weren't held responsible. I
No, and
mean,
I
I
feel
not
like they should have to some extent, right?
I but this is going to be to a larger point. I think, from Josh's perspective and even mine. It's just like, and this just goes back to, I mean, like, if you get Thanos snap guns out of here, like,
If
should
we
there
could
be guns,
Thanos snap
gun
guns
control?
out
And
of
I am
here,
not.
I
I don't.
absolutely would, right? If we could just say no more guns,
Yeah, but it's not possible.
of
I mean, I
course,
don't
but
mean
it's not
just the magic is
possible. Yeah.
impossible. I mean, just the problem with that is that there's always going to be weapons.
Yeah, there's always going to be weapons, and we just kind of have to contend with that fact. And there's always going to be people who make mistakes with weapons. There's always going to be parents who are too blasé with their children
Agreed,
with
but
weapons.
this goes back to the whole gun control debate, and you have to remember from other cultures and countries, like,
I know.
they don't.
Oh, I
That's
know.
not
I'm
a
very
part of
aware.
their lifestyle
Yeah,
at all.
I'm totally aware.
And
I mean,
then
like, of
particularly places
course,
like
that's
Australia,
not
and then
lost on me.
like places like Josh's
Yeah.
leanings on things where he's more of the revolutionist, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but like, he should also be aware of other cultural situations too, right? Like, I'm aware of that situation in Australia, right? I think he
It's
should
not about
also be
that.
more
It's just
cognizant of other situations in other countries as well.
that, like, it was okay that the kid, like, that ultimately people died because guns are allowed. Like, a kid was allowed
No,
to have a gun.
no, that's not what I'm saying at all.
But that's
Um,
how he's gonna see it, though. You see what I'm saying?
okay, but like, what am I?
He can be understanding of, like, well, because you guys were negligent in this matter. You don't, like, I don't know. Like, there's a variety of
But like,
conclusions that you can draw from that.
how am I supposed to change my behavior to deal with that? Is my question.
You don't have to. You can just
Yeah,
understand. Just have a conversation about it
but I
and
did.
understand the
That's what
perspective.
I felt like. That's what I did.
Oh, I don't know what happened. I wasn't there.
Like, I was saying the same kind of stuff I'm
I'm
saying.
just explaining aloud, like,
Yeah,
probably Josh's mindset or
for sure.
about it.
I was in that conversation. I was saying a lot of the same kind of stuff that I'm saying to you right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think the responsibility was probably more on his parents. I think the kid was in a situation he shouldn't have been in the first place, but now
Do you
that he
think that
was,
kids like? Do you think that kids should, like? How do you feel about, like, kids that um let's just say no younger than 12, um when they're involved with like murder cases or things of that nature.
Like
I mean,
trialing
we just
them
had we just
as
had
adults versus
we just
children.
had six juveniles between the ages of 14, 15, and 16 arrested on like 12 counts of felony possession of a firearm in commission of a crime, stolen firearms, burglary, assault, abduction, like all kinds of shit.
I don't
There was another case
I don't
recently
know if I
too.
have a good
There's another
answer for
case
that.
right now where like there's two teenagers looking at life sentences for murder. How do you feel about like when like teenagers are involved with situations like that?
I don't
Like,
I don't know if I have a satisfying answer for that, honestly. Um,
that's
I
okay.
I like I understand like the differences between like being tried as an adult or being tried as a juvenile, but like
Mhm.
I don't understand enough of like the legal theory to have a very strong opinion on it.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's a case. I'm not trying to box you into one way
No,
or
no, I'm
another
just
about
being
it. But
honest.
I'm just trying to make it. I'm trying to make maybe a parallel to like Kyle Rittenhouse saying. So, well,
I
can we
think
look at
I think to a
like because
certain
I agree
age.
with you. Yeah, I'm very critical about like parental involvement. I am,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, wasn't he was 17? I think at the time.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
you
but
know.
you would agree there are certain 17-year-olds
I
that
don't
are
care
gonna.
about the fact that like he was almost 18. That's not my point.
Yeah.
My
No,
point is
let
more
me
like
let me
okay, he was
let
17.
me say this. Let me try to
He's
answer it
not
this way.
8 years old.
I think you would agree that there are certain 17-year-olds that are going to have a better understanding of what they're doing than other 17-year-olds, right?
Yeah, but then how do you regulate that for who
Well,
should be
that's
having a
I don't
firearm?
that's
You
a
know.
question for a judge, I think, right? Like I don't
Well,
really know
yeah,
how
and
to
at
do
this
that.
point, I mean, it's generally 18, but there's exceptions to this.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Um
for purchasing. Actually, I misspoke. That's for purchasing.
yeah, I don't think a
Not for
kid
shooting.
I don't think a kid should kids probably shouldn't have guns, right?
I
Um
don't know. The hunting community might not like that. I mean, I
Well,
grew
I
up in
mean,
that
like
community.
there again, there's always going to be certain exceptions. If they're if they are truly well trained, they've gone through classes.
Well, yeah,
They
we are. I mean, at least in my state, I'm sure this is probably national. We actually are required to get hunter education,
right.
other things. Whereas, as just at least in my state, and this is the case pretty much everywhere. I mean, just barring whether or not there's a registry and some other things, but
Hmm.
like I can just go buy a gun tomorrow and walk out in like 10 minutes.
I can't do that here. Registration in
I don't have
California
any wait
is
times. I don't
yeah.
have any of that
Registration
stuff.
in California is a pretty lengthy process compared to the rest of the
And
country.
I could even go to a private sale. Like, I don't have to do a background check.
Yeah, you can't
But
do
I
that
mean,
here.
it's just, background checks is not a problem either.
I mean,
I can
like
do private sale.
it's a super complicated question, right? Because obviously, like if we were just to
Well,
go
it's just
from
really
like a
it's just really examining the question of at what point do we hold parents accountable? And so I'm just going to use an extreme case of like capital murder.
yeah, I think capital murder is a pretty
I
I
mean, like, I don't know,
yeah,
it
like
doesn't get much
I
worse than
think
that.
if you can really show obvious intent from a
And there's
person,
many cases where like
yeah,
it's not it's a case of the kid was confused or some weird shit.
yeah,
It's
where it's like
just
very
evil.
clear
Like
that
it's
they were
just
evil.
bad.
Yeah, I'm obviously a lot
You
more
remember
inclined to see
think
them
about like
tried as an adult
or
in a
even think
case
about
like
a
that.
case like remember the guy like that fucking sawed off his dad's head for being a fucking
Yes.
like a DOI
Yes.
employee.
I'm pretty
I
sure
feel
I
like the
remember
world like
that.
everybody
Yeah.
forgot about that. They covered it for
Yeah.
like a day. I was like, what
Well,
the
it's because
fuck?
it's like every other fucking day there's another crazy
No,
story in
but
this
this was
country.
just a regular federal worker, and I don't think every other day, like, kids are killing their
No,
parents because
no,
they're
no, no, no,
federal
no. My God.
employees.
No. No.
That
But
was
yeah, I
that was
mean, something like that, obviously try them as an adult, right?
Yeah, no, I'm saying a little bit separate from that
yeah,
point.
and
I was
and
like,
like
holy shit, that shit
and like
scares me.
and that's kind of why I have a little more sympathy, like just to sort of put a button on the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, so we can totally move on from it. That's kind of why I have a little more sympathy for him, because he kind of just struck me as like a dumb kid who made a dumb choice, whose parents weren't teaching him enough about things like this, and who was allowed to go into a situation that he never should have been allowed
Yeah,
into.
and
Yeah.
I'll just counter with maybe, and I'm just speculating, but I also kind of feel this way to a degree. Or it depends really on how I feel about it at any given time.
Yeah.
But it's just like, yeah, well, in our experience, we didn't have that either, and so, and in fact, we might get infuriated with people who might be by the general population like kind of categorized as just naive, appropriately naive
Mm-hmm.
for their age,
Mm-hmm.
whereas from my perspective, and maybe a little bit of this suspense can comes from Josh. It's like, well, we didn't have this parental guidance or any of that like support structure. I mean, we were introduced to like these kind of just like that was just kind of the norm, like just very kind
Sure,
of high
but
risk,
you also
violent,
didn't.
like
You also
like just
didn't have like like he in this case. I would argue,
the only
if we're
difference is that you didn't firearms. I mean,
yeah, he seemed to have a negative support structure for this particular thing, or what we would perceive as negative, right?
what do
So
you mean, Kyle Rittenhouse?
yeah, like he had a negative reinforcement in regards to how to handle a situation like this. It seems like,
Well, but why do you think that? Because the
well, because it
parents?
seems like, yeah, the parents were encouraging
But what I'm
him
saying
to
is,
go and do
like,
something like that.
Josh and I didn't have parents that didn't do any of the above. Like, there
Right, they
was
didn't do
none.
negative, they didn't do positive.
I would say it's negative. I mean, but you're arguing though that they should have, like they have ought to have done like some XYZ things.
I would say
Raising their kids. We
even
don't have to be
having
specific
done,
about it.
yeah, I would say even having done nothing, I would say is probably better than what it seems like they did from his perspective.
Yeah, but this ties back to his decision making, like that leads up to that moment,
Mm.
is like the entire collection of his experiences in life,
Yeah.
right? I mean, so he like, so I don't know. I'm not saying, again, it's not like a debate about it. It's just like,
No, we're just
maybe
talking about it.
it's just this. I mean, it's another way you could look at it. I'm not saying that's like what I immediately think about. Like, I don't even think about Kyle Rittenhouse. It happened.
Well, I don't think about it unless we're talking about it, right?
Yeah,
Or
I mean,
unless
so
like
I
that
mean, I don't.
again,
But
like people were bringing it up in
I
relation to
well,
Tim Walsh's
let me
kid, and
rephrase.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't have like I don't. It doesn't really evoke like
Yeah,
an
I'm not like
emotional
sitting
response
around
without reading.
crying for Kyle Rittenhouse. You know what I
I'm not
mean? Like,
I'm not suggesting you
yeah.
are. I'm just saying like it never did. Like I don't. It doesn't evoke. I'm saying I don't. It doesn't evoke like a meta argument. Like for other people, it's going to be about gun control and like whether he should have like they're going to have strongly opinionated and principled about the various
Yeah, I
aspects of
don't
the
think
case,
those things are
obviously,
necessarily
and I have my
mutually
opinions about it as well.
exclusive. Like you can think about both of those things. You can have some sympathy for a kid who was in the wrong place at the wrong time, who was raised in an environment that allowed him to do some stupid shit, and you can also like have opinions about gun control, and you can think both of those things. I don't think they're necessarily
Never
mutually
said they
exclusive.
weren't.
Yeah.
It's just I'm just trying to explain behavior.
Sure.
That's all.
Sure. Um, I think everything you said is very valuable. Helps me understand a little bit more of like where that is. But I hope like
I
you
mean, we
also
have different. I mean,
understood.
Josh and I have differences as well, but
Sure, of course.
but I don't know. It's a little different.
Yeah, I hope you understand a little more of like where that conversation came from as well. From my perspective, it wasn't to like be like it wasn't to scold anybody, right?
No, I don't think you were trying to scold
Yeah.
him. That's not. That's the impression I got.
It was just like my whole goal since the election, because I feel like one of the big problems that we've had as the Democratic Party is
You can't make somebody feel compassion, or like that. It flirts with like compelling somebody to feel empathy is a strange. I know that's not what you said or how you framed it, or maybe what you meant, but that's like kind of how it feels like, because
I
it's basically we need to feel more compassionate and empathetic
what
or
I
sympathetic
wanted
for
to
people, right?
do.
And I agree with you. I 100% agree with you.
Yeah,
I think it's a huge problem. A huge problem. I 100% agree with you.
yeah.
But I am asking like the question. But when I think about these things, I think about them from different, like, as many perspectives as I can, and for him too. And I do think it would be weird if I said. I realize that I don't know how exactly you phrased it, but
Hmm.
it's like, let me. I want you to feel a certain way about somebody. Let me show you.
I understand. I can understand
And
how.
that's
I
not
guess.
like that's not like that's not a negative. That's not like a strike against you. That's just it's neutral. It's just an observation.
I wanted to take an opportunity. I thought to try to humanize somebody that I
Yeah.
thought may have been dehumanized by a lot of people, because I just
Yeah.
think that that's a good thing in general for us to do.
I
I
agree. I
Yeah.
just think for Josh, anyway, is probably not a great example.
Well, maybe
No,
I
maybe an
could have picked
example
a
for
better.
him, because
Maybe I
I
could
mean,
have
even
picked a
I'm
better
saying, like,
example.
I still feel like um I don't know why it was brought up, but I know Destiny talks about it a lot.
I swear to God that the situation I was talking
But
about is
it's
why it was
hard to
brought up.
like not feel like
Look,
you're
I
not just
understand that was
repeating
like
what
a
Destiny
big. Yeah,
says.
I swear to God I was not talking. When he had the
But
whole
Josh
Kyle.
might think that too. I don't know what he thinks,
I have
but
no
I'm just
idea what
saying.
he thinks. We haven't talked about it since then.
I mean, he
But
doesn't want to.
okay, whatever. I wasn't even watching Destiny when he did the whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing, so I wasn't even watching him at
Mm.
that point. So
Yeah, that's right. Vance,
yeah,
I keep forgetting. You gotta
yeah.
keep reminding me.
One of the so like that was a lot of my own feelings. It didn't even have anything to
Well,
do with him.
that's what you get for getting all caught up with like chat wars, you know?
Eh, I don't.
I
At this
mean,
point,
you're
I
fucking
just want to
arguing
talk about
like about what
topics,
other
man.
dumbasses are arguing about.
Yeah,
It's
I
just,
know. It was just. It was.
and
It was
I
just.
do think it's terrible. Like, I don't really, I don't know Vance's kid or whatever, or the other one, whoever it was.
Waltz's kid. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's
Yeah.
just, it's not cool like that. I don't
Yeah,
like.
I don't agree with that, but I also think like while I obviously condemn that as like really really terrible, I also think that those of us who were like super shitty towards Kyle Rittenhouse might have had like some contribution earlier down the line to them having that sort of response, because everything's kind of circular. Things come back when they see similar
I don't know.
situations, and history
I'm so
repeats itself.
confused why it was compared to Rittenhouse, anyways. But
So the
whatever.
people who were talking shit about Walls' kid, when everybody was
Yeah.
going to them and being like, "Oh my God, he's crying. He's a kid who loves his dad, and he's crying. How could you talk like this?" All of their response was, "Well, y'all were talking shit like this about Kyle Rittenhouse, so we're gonna talk about him when
So
Kyle
just the
Rittenhouse was
mob
crying."
organically was
Yeah,
like, "Hey, remember Rittenhouse?" Like, I feel like there's
exactly.
probably
Yeah.
other examples,
Well, that was the.
but
I
I
mean,
guess
maybe, but that was the one they were
maybe
all
they were talking about
pointing to.
guns or something. Maybe I'm just trying to find the link there. I'm just
I
like, it's
did
a
not
weird thing.
see a lot of gun
Wait,
conversation
were you watching this
actually
on
about that.
NBC? Like, I don't get it.
I mean,
It's so
no.
weird to
I
me.
mean, there was chatter
And maybe
all
it's
over
just
like
internet, like,
different. Yeah, it was internet
lore that
shit.
I'm not
It was
aware
like
of.
internet comment sections. It was like
Yeah, maybe I'm just not aware
people
of the
talking
lore.
like David Pakman.
Oh yeah, your buddy. You like him.
I like him because he's an Argentine Jew, but he's generally pretty.
He's okay.
reasonable.
I mean, he's okay, but I've seen
He's
some stuff
reasonable.
that like,
I've
he
seen
did
some
try to
stupid
shove
stuff
him
from him
onto.
too. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, like he'll pull up a document and be like, "Look, look," I'm like, "Whoa."
Yeah,
girl,
yeah,
calm
yeah,
down."
yeah. I also saw
Alright, I'm
like
glad you said that because I'm just like, look, like I've heard it, like he's fine, but like sometimes.
yeah,
he-
yeah,
he
yeah,
gets
yeah,
to
yeah. No,
that shit.
and dude, I'll tell you, I disagree with Destiny on shit too. Like I don't agree with everything he says, right? Like I disagree
I
with
don't
him
think you do.
on.
I mean, that'd
Yeah.
be kind of crazy.
That would be crazy. The reason I like I've said, I like him because I like his research style and like whatever you
No,
think
I
about
do.
him.
I do too.
He is very
you know,
entertaining. You know.
Yeah, but it's. I think they're just. It's more of, like his character maybe that rubs him wrong way, and it
Yeah.
does for me too. And honestly,
And I don't blame you for
after,
feeling
like, the
that
whole thing
either.
he said about like the guy who died of the Trump
Yeah, I
thing.
didn't like that one. I
He lost
really
it.
didn't like that one.
I don't know if that's. I don't know if that's that's not
That's a
redeemable.
big sticking
I don't know if
point
that's
for a lot
redeemable,
of
sorry.
people, and I understand it too.
I really don't think it's
because
redeemable for me. Like
That's
I
fair.
didn't even
I'm
see
not
it
gonna. I
myself.
wouldn't
Like
ask
I
you
just
to.
saw the excessive comment and like what he said. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
like
I want to say this
I
right
know
now.
that your wife got fucked, or your quote unquote wife, but she's not your wife. Got fucked by Sneeko, but bro, you gotta chill.
I don't know
That's not
about
cool.
his wife fucking Sneeko, but
What, you didn't hear about that? She hooked up
no,
with Sneeko.
I don't think she would have. I mean,
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't
I
wanna
don't know.
believe it either,
I don't
'cause
know
he
about
looks like a
Sneeko.
retard and
Yeah.
retard monkey.
She
but
fucked
whatever.
some other guy though, and that kind of ended their relationship. But I don't know about Sneeko.
Well, that'd be funny if it was just Sneeko. That'd be
God, that would be
terrible.
crazy. Oh my gosh.
He'd
But
lose
yeah,
his mind.
like I was never okay with him saying that. I wouldn't.
saw. I'm not saying like saying that to you. I'm just saying like
Yeah.
I remember like seeing like I don't know. He posted like and he was just really. I was like, what is going on? Like
Yeah.
like. I could,
Also-
if he said it like all like just off.
I want to
tongue,
say
like,
I want to
in-
say this because I found this very interesting. I don't know what you'll think about this, and I hope I'm not tattling here.
what?
But when he said that shit, Josh was posting it and saying, "Oh, this is so based." Just so you know.
Oh, no, that's just him making fun of Destiny. Ultimately, that's him trying to taking a crack at Destiny.
Is it? Because he seemed
Yeah.
to kind of like it. Leo liked it too.
No, they're just they know you like Destiny, so they're just trolling you.
That was before, like, that was kind of before all the shit.
And it
Got
doesn't
more
matter. They know
tense
you like
about that.
Destiny. Like, so they're trolling you.
They're
I
trolling
guarantee
me
you.
by agreeing with it?
By agreeing that it's cool that the guy was killed, like what Steve Bonelli or whatever his name is, thinks.
Yeah, I mean, like, I wasn't the one who I wasn't the one who
you're
posted it.
misunderstanding.
Like,
It's
okay, like if you say so. I mean, if you say so, it seemed
well, I
pretty
mean,
genuine,
what is the
but
alternative? You think that that's what they think, that they
Uh,
think that it was cool that the guy was murdered.
I mean, Leo
that's possible, I
Leo
think.
was just talking today about how cool he thinks it was that CEO got murdered.
I mean, he says shit like that all the time. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not saying like if I talked to them about it now that they would feel the same way. I don't think they would. But like in the moment, I think they heard that and they were like, "Yeah, fuck this guy. Who cares about the guy at the Trump rally?"
I can't. I don't. I never heard Josh say anything like about that or remotely
Mhm.
like that. It doesn't sound like Josh, even though he acts like. I mean,
Yeah,
I can't say about. I can't speak for Leo really, but
you know what? I'm making a judgment without knowing what's in Josh's head. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna retract that.
that's just not.
and-
That's not.
yeah.
I mean, but he does like act a certain way. Like
Yeah, so I don't
I can
know.
kind of understand that, but like, I mean, like no.
I don't know.
That's
It
just
could be
that's
whatever.
just a stab at you, to be quite frank with you.
I no, but why would it be a stab at me? Like I didn't.
Because you're annoying with Destiny. That's what we all think. I don't know. I'm speaking for them now.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Well, like, think about it. You brought in Daniel, and I know that you needed a pal, like, so you could fight off your,
Mhm.
buddy trolls. And, it just turned into, basically, but, you were being pretty, democratic about it, but, I mean, it just turned into, a lot of gross rhetoric going back and forth. And I know that Leo is doing what Leo does, being an agitator and annoying. I'm kind of getting annoyed with his just. I really do think it's
Mhm.
laziness to just the max.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just kind of it's trashy. It's getting annoying. Um, yeah. It
So
was just
I
the
do.
Israel argument, like
Yeah.
just over and over
Yeah.
and over and over and over and over and over and over and over. You're a commie, you're America, and just
Yeah, I'm kind of
it's
done.
getting
I'm
old.
kind of done with that bullshit. I think Daniel's pretty done with that bullshit. He wants better conversation.
You
All
know,
of us want better conversation. Um,
yeah.
d-
I mean, that's why I don't know. I mean, I've been a little bit snippy in the chat. I'm like, if this is really
yeah,
just directed at everybody, it's like
that's
it's
fine.
degenerate and
I
trashy.
want you to know, as a mod in my server, I am, and I know you see this because you said so. I am making an effort to try to make
No, I
better.
know that. I know that.
Yeah,
It's not. I mean, it's not. I'm not.
and I
Again,
think it's
this isn't.
working. I do think it's working.
I don't. I'm not. I don't. I'm not saying it's any singular fault. I just the way I speak about things. I just talk about what I observe. It's not
Yeah.
like attached with any judgment or even like call it like even like a suggestion or
But
anything.
like
It's
I'm totally willing to admit that like I contributed to those rising tensions, that like I saw things and I
no. I mean, it was everybody. I mean,
no, of
like
course,
I
but
would come in and
I want to
occasionally say
take
one
my
or two
part of the
words
blame
like
as
you guys are
well.
shit, and like it
Yeah.
wasn't helpful. Nobody was helpful.
But I also
But my
want to,
point.
I don't want to put it on just anybody else. I want to take my portion of the blame as well, right? And
Well, that's fine. I mean, you're strongly opinionated about it, and so are they. And
yeah.
mm,
And but my whole my whole vision for the server was strong opinions, but be able to have conversations about that, and it felt like we lost that for a while.
well, nobody's having conversations. This is just you're a commie, you're a Jew. That's all it is.
I think we've gotten better
It
at
just
having those
boils down to
conversations.
that. I don't
Because like I have had really good conversations. I've had good conversations with Leo over the last couple weeks too.
Well, then I don't know. You're obviously. I mean, that doesn't seem to reflect what he posts then, or.
He's gonna post what he's gonna post. I
Well,
think
then it's a non-issue,
yeah, I think
right?
I've sort of
I don't-
tuned it out a little bit because I
I
just
don't
kind
really
of
care
expect
what
it.
like Leo posts. It doesn't bother me. Like I don't give a
Yeah.
fuck.
Well, at this point, I feel like I've learned how to handle it in a more constructive way, rather than getting upset about it. Yeah, I can handle it a bit better now. Before I would get emotional because obviously I have like personal tie to it, but I'm just not taking it personal at this point, and I'm just engaging in what I think to be a more constructive way of conversing about it. Right.
Yeah, I think that's best.
Sometimes I internally get a little ticked off in what I feel is like.
No, I mean I'm the same way. We all do it. Like I'm not
Yeah.
judging on that. Like that's.
I'm not
like, we
saying
all
you
do
are.
that.
I'm just kind of getting my feelings out a little bit.
I didn't say no.
Yeah.
Chill out. I'm not. Don't get defensive.
I'm not getting
just saying,
defensive.
like
I
I'm
swear.
not like that. I'm like I'm cool. It's cool, bro. I get it. Like we're
Yeah.
the same. Like we all get pissed off. Like I say,
Yeah.
and like I'll get pissed off. Like
Yeah.
it's fine. I'm just saying. Like I get it from both the perspectives. I can tell you why I think they're doing it. And so I just think that because they have a different worldview, they have a different life experience.
And that's great.
You know,
I just wish we could
it's
just
not necessarily
talk about it.
anti-American. It's just they
Yeah.
don't like Americanism stuffed down their throats, and that's how it comes across.
I just don't like a lot.
I know your side of the argument of it, but
I just don't like a
know.
lot of the passive aggression. That's kind of what bothers me. I wish we could just talk about it, right?
Yeah, but what do you want to like? I mean, well,
yeah.
it's just from my perspective, I just kind of all I see is just it's the socialist versus capitalist argument, and you can in a variety of fun, neat little unoriginal ways.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you're probably right to an extent, but I also I'm not like
And I
a
live both
purely
those
capitalist
lives.
person either. Like I'm about mixed economies, and I want to have those deep conversations, but I don't know. It feels like I can't say anything in favor of capitalism.
Well, that's why you can't. I mean, if you want to have like a discussion, like he posts a bunch of stuff about, economics, probably in the economics section. Like, you gotta appeal to. I mean, if you just like post something about like, Elon based, or I'm not saying you said that, but whatever, pro
I wouldn't. I
capitalist
don't think
based
he
shit.
is. I think he's an idiot.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I think he's a
This is a
moron. Of
positive
course,
sign.
that's the thing. Is like we actually agree on a lot of stuff, but like when I mention like the little things we disagree
Well,
on,
but you understand though that like even maybe from my it's like it's hard to know that because maybe all they're hearing or seeing, and then to me it's even
yeah,
worse because I don't always tune into like the full.
right.
I have to go back look in 3 days at what you guys are talking
So
about. It's
this
a whole
is,
lot of
and I've talked to Josh
bullshit.
about this before too. Is like I think there's a bit of selection bias where they don't really notice as much when I agree with them as when I disagree with them, because when I disagree with them, that
I
stands
see
out a
that.
lot more.
I see that both you and you guys do that, but I think honestly, I also see. I don't know if they notice this or just a factor, but it's a tag team fact. So it's like tech and tag. Daniel comes in and then he kind of and then so then you guys have your little thing together. I don't know what those like fucking stickers are of these like motherfuckers. Like I don't know.
Hmm.
It's
Well,
kind of like
keep
I
in
don't know. If you
mind.
want to have your Muslim beard, my friend, like
Oh
go ahead.
yeah,
I mean, I
a
don't
lot
know.
of the time, we saw Thanos, Leo, and Josh coming at our opinions all the time, and so we
Mm.
felt like it was
Well,
hard for
yeah. I
us
mean, you
to,
defended
yeah,
your opinions and vice versa.
yeah, and yeah, the rhetoric got a little nasty towards each other, and I agree with you 100% there.
And I'm just telling you, I think it's because they probably just were a little nauseated with like it was a little too much American for them. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
it's not a
why
negative
is it?
statement.
I
It's an
know that, but like,
observation
why is it? And I'm
because
genuinely
they have a
asking this
different opinion.
question.
They don't see America the same through the same lens. That
But
doesn't.
why is it okay for them to have their strong opinion and not okay for us to have our strong
They
opinion?
never said it wasn't okay
But
for
it
you. They're not trying to
feels
dominate
like
you.
it. It feels
But
like it.
no, you just don't like that they are disagreeing and trolling you
Yeah, because I don't do I
because
try to be
you let
respectful to
them
them.
do that.
I try to be
I mean,
respectful to them.
I know. Well, then the alternative is then you need to have a conversation about like it like. I mean, one time, I don't usually because I can't be bothered with Leo's constant Twitter posting, but I did like at one point, like I did like he posted some dumb graph that was just dumb as fuck.
Mm,
And I messaged it. I responded to it. I'm like, are you this fucking stupid?
mm.
And he was like, no. I'm like,
I
yeah,
noticed
okay.
that. I did notice. I do
Don't
notice
post
that.
dumbass shit. Like I didn't go on. It's just like, yeah, like, and I can't. I know that I will randomly respond to whoever's message because I
Yeah.
see this.
I'm not
Like,
expecting you to like be in here as like a like a
no,
cop
I'm
or
not.
whatever.
I'm
Yeah.
not. I don't think that you expect that either. I explain the randomness to it, which is like it doesn't matter. I'll open it and it just immediately see retardism. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah. I just
and
like
it's
I try to treat everybody in here, and I've had my moments, obviously. But for the most
no. I
part,
think you're being. I think you do.
yeah,
I think you
and
speak pretty diplomatically about
I
it.
try my best
Um,
to, and like I wish that I would, cuz I'm a believer in the golden rule, right? You treat others the way you want to be treated, and I do wish that I would
I
get
think
that
it's
back sometimes.
also just the constant communism, like commie rhetoric. It's annoying.
Yeah. It's a
Is
little much.
and I get it. Like, okay, let me even use it. I'll give you like something that kind of like a little like kind of I don't know how to explain it. It kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, or I don't know if it's the right way to put it. But
Mhm.
I remember Daniel was saying something. I don't know. He's on a long diatribe about something. About communist China, and that I think he was implying that he had lived there and that he'd spoke to people that had lived there that had,
So
been,
what he said,
got
I remember exactly what you're saying,
the
and
hardships he was going into.
yeah,
So
I
but I
don't know if
remember
he said he
thinking,
lived there, but he grew up around those communities of people that had lived there.
okay, well, and
Yeah.
that clarified. I mean, in my mind, I was like, I was just at face value accepting it, like, okay, where, thanks for clarifying, but
Yeah.
I didn't ask him. I just assumed, like, okay, so you grew up with people who had experienced that, and I think these are valuable. Those are valuable, stories,
I
obviously, and
agree.
I'm interested in those. But I remember thinking, because I don't, I don't remember exactly what he was responding to, but it was obviously, some response to something. And it's like, well, China, and then it was kind of a generic. I mean, it was well written, but generic,
Mm-hmm.
China bad. And then, but the last part about like his experience, his personal experience, like I was interested in, but the language that was used was just really just
Inflammatory
uh,
or dismissive.
no, no, because in the middle of when you guys would just do your like 2v2s, you
Sure.
throw in like some like cringy ass statements like base, some whatever dumb
Sure.
bullshit. I don't know.
Sure.
It's like it makes it jarring because it's like what I'm like, you wrote this nicely. This was a nice response
But then you
until
had to say something
in
that
the
would like piss
middle of
somebody
it, you
off
just
in the middle of
broke
it.
and
Yeah.
just what turned into like I don't know,
No,
just
I
started
agree.
throwing like
I don't want
nasty.
that kind of rhetoric. I don't want it from me. I don't want it from Daniel. I
I
don't
get
want it
it.
from
Like I
Leo. I don't
throw
want
in
it
nasty,
from
like
Josh.
I throw in stuff like that too. But it's like I can't take you when I read something that's there's a couple of things you responded to. I don't remember what it was. I thought were well written and like decent responses, but like it just had that tinge of just the cringe.
Internet level edginess.
Yeah, the internet
Yeah.
bro shit. Like, and
Yeah.
I just to me it was just like I can't. I'm not even that picky about it, but I know that's infectious. Like like we do that with each other,
Sure.
and you'll like pick up the energy off of each other. I
Yeah.
mean, you don't do it. Like I said, like when he writes some like a couple paragraphs like I said, they're not necessarily written bad. It's just in like if the third sentence will be like, and Mao, daddy, or I don't know what the fuck he says. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
remember,
yeah.
but
Daddy Mao, whatever
that kind
bullshit.
of like
Yeah, 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 yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like
It's just really
well, I'm like you totally
sarcastic.
yeah,
It's
you totally
really
lost me now.
sarcastic and
Yeah, but it's
dismissive,
very
and
cringe. Yeah, but
yeah,
it's like a little
I
too
don't like
much.
it either. If I'm honest with you,
It's
like
like
we
yeah, well,
get
I get
into
it,
that
right?
shit, and we feel
Tommy
like we
bad.
have to do it because we're like pushing back on
We
each
don't
other or
have to
whatever.
do it.
But
Like
we
you kind
don't
of
have to
insulted
do
me
it.
too.
I
I grew up in
agree.
we're
Yeah.
all my Croatia's commie.
Yeah.
Harvatsky's commie for life. You ain't get rid of that
Yeah.
shit. I mean,
So
actually,
I mean,
Democratic.
like I'm happy to commit to continue like when I see that kind of stuff, be like, hey, let's be nicer to each other.
Look,
Like,
I know, but I get it. They also troll you with the Che Guevara's. I get it. It goes both ways, but
yeah,
I
but
just
I
think that
totally, I mean, like they trolled me, but
I
I
think
gave
from their
them
perspective and
appropriate
my
level shit
perspective
on it.
too, it's a lesser understanding. When I saw that Daniel posted it, that told me two things. It told me that one, like, yes, I mean, there's plenty to criticize about China. I mean, it was
Sure.
just the one of many things. Yes, I don't. Nobody's pro Mao. I mean, in the
No.
sense of and again, like, but Mao did write some bangers. But anyway,
Sure.
nobody's pro Mao, like as in like nobody's pro, just mass death, and,
Right, obviously.
all of it. But my point is that they come and they say something that's related to China, or they make jokes China, Mao, or whatever they're doing, and then it's just reacted with, or if it's anything remotely socialism, or then it just turns into just the basic communism versus America rules, America fuck yeah thing, which I mean I in certain contexts have this of the exact cut from the same cloth, but it's kind of like it's on both sides. Like I said, I'm not placing blame on either one. I'm just I'm
Well, I
telling
think
what
we've all kind of we and again, I think it's getting better right now. But I think at that point, we were all in a place where like any hint of that sort of argument made us think it was part of the larger overarching argument that we'd been having sort of back and forth. And so
well,
that's
isn't
sort
the
of,
argument, is there a genocide in Gaza? Yes or no?
that is one argument. Another argument is like
I mean,
capitalism
people are
versus
dying.
communism.
They don't like it. They don't.
Of
Yeah.
course.
No, I mean no, but specifically,
I don't
Israel,
like
I
it
mean.
either.
Yeah, I mean, so it's
I don't want to
it's
see
just
people die. I don't want to see civilians die. Who wants
yeah,
to
but
see
aren't
that?
you? Everybody's arguing about the fucking once again, the UN and the ICG and all
Yeah.
that.
Mm. The ICJ ruling. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which we still haven't been able to go into. Which I'd be happy to go into
I
at some
mean, I
point.
don't
But
care. It's just I don't care. It's just if I see the motherfuckers start talking about it again, like like well, it should be this or that. I'm like, it should be familiarize yourself with
with
the
the law.
legal
Yep.
like, and then we'll talk about it,
Yep.
and then tell me why it doesn't fit the definition, et cetera, et cetera.
Hmm. And I could talk about that for a long time because that is something I've actually spent since the beginning of this war. I have spent a lot of time studying
And
that. We
same
don't
for
need
me
to
with
get into that now,
Balkans.
but
It's just way
um,
too much. I don't want
yeah,
to talk
it's
about it for
so
3 days
much.
straight.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe another time I think you and I could have actually a really interesting discussion about it. But
Yeah, I mean, I could even say like I think that I'll just quickly go back to the bad empanada thing. Like, I
mhm.
mean, I think if I'm being charitable, I think that like through his like just like fucking like layer of bullshit. Like his underlying point, like like I even told Josh, I'm like I'm like I think if I'm understanding his ridiculously over the top, sarcastic, facetious, way of speaking, like presenting is
Right.
like my first thing was like, I don't even know what the fuck he's trying to say here. Like, just say what you mean. Like,
Hmm.
don't It's like, so you saying we should don't if you're just gonna complain, it was bad. Trust me, I don't like that person.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
So, but I think his underlying, maybe the underlying point was like, yeah, it's inconsistent. Maybe that would be a better way to put it if that was his argument, which I'm not exactly sure. But with the Ethan thing, what happened? I saw some shit. He, oh, didn't. Oh wait, sorry, I'm confusing two people. Yeah, I guess he got. Well, what? Ethan's just a menace. He doesn't shut up.
Yeah.
He used to be. I mean, I used to watch the show
Hmm.
when when they were doing the podcast, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't have a problem with Hila, obviously, because I mean, she was nice. Like, she wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, what is there like say that's
Sure.
negative?
Yeah.
I mean, and my impression of Ethan Klein was just he's like, I remember just back in the day, like he had guests on, and he was just a host, but he'd sometimes interject and say some dumb,
Sure.
just dumb,
Totally.
like, "Ugh,"
I think
and
nobody's gonna claim that Ethan Klein is any sort of super intelligent
yeah, he
person.
was terrible. Like,
Yeah.
he'd be like,
Yeah.
in my head, I'd be like, shut up, dude.
And
Like,
in
okay,
fact,
listen to the guy
he's
talk.
been very
Okay.
probably more critical than of Israel than I have ever been.
Ethan?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with him. All I know is that he started getting like increasingly parasitic and annoying. He then just he'd be on the internet, just I don't know what.
Yeah.
Just
But
never shut the
what did
fuck up.
concern me with him was like, he was doing a podcast with Hassan, and Hassan's audience like
I know, I
turned on
remember that
him,
too.
yeah, in a
There
really
was the
negative
Hassan
way.
thing,
And I just
and
thought that
and
was
then
inappropriate.
yeah, I didn't really. I don't like Hassan. I don't know. Probably it's probably not the same reasons. I don't know. I don't really know. Which Josh wasn't, crazy because Josh. I don't know if like is the right word, but I told him straight up. First time you brought up Hassan, I was like, "Fuck that guy."
Yeah.
But I just don't like.
I don't think I've ever seen Josh really go gaga over Hassan either, if I'm perfectly honest.
I've conceded to Josh that I'm like, yeah, I've heard him say things that like I agree with, but like for the most like and the stuff that I
Yeah,
don't
I've heard
watch his
some
shit.
stuff I
But
agree
every
with
time
from
ever
him
I've
too.
seen him or like he's
But
opened his
most of the
mouth,
time I
it's like
don't.
instantly stupid.
Yeah.
It's instantly dumb. And I'm just like, no, just get him out of here.
Yeah.
These young Turk fuckers.
Yeah.
Get the
Oh
fuck out of here.
gosh,
I'm
dude,
sorry. I don't like
Jenk
Turks.
is going crazy right now.
Oh well, he's always crazy.
I know.
Chungus.
Did you know I met him once?
Oh, I think did you? That's pretty interesting. He sucks.
Yeah,
he said
but he
that.
was. I'll tell you this: he was very, very nice and very
I bet
gracious
he
in
is.
person.
I bet he's cool. He's just
Yeah.
very, he's a Turk, right? Is he
Yeah.
actually a Turk?
Yeah, he's from Turkey. Yeah, he was born in Turkey,
Well,
I believe.
Dirty Turk. We don't have Turks. Always cause him fucking rolling in. With
But yeah,
shit.
like the young Turks in general are like having crazy. Like, isn't Emma Vigeland like she's like a?
Is she the blonde girl? Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
yeah. I think
I've
she's
seen
like
this
a.
stuff, but I don't watch
She's
them.
like super defensive of Trump nowadays. It's kind of crazy.
What? She just switched sides.
She kind of switched sides. She claims she's a
I feel
centrist,
like I
but
watched something maybe a year ago, and she was like defending some shit that didn't seem to like jive with her normal like.
yeah,
I don't know.
exactly.
I don't remember
she's-
what it was about.
She
but
seems like she's doing the transfer
She's, like,
sort of
having,
like
like,
Dave
a-
Rubin
like a-
did. Yeah.
yeah, like some kind of identity change or
Yeah,
something. I don't know.
exactly. But she's still on the
No.
Young Turks. Like they haven't kicked her off, which hey, I'll give them props for that.
She's annoying
Right?
as fuck too. But I remember when she was speaking about whatever it was at one time, I was like, well, she sounds like, like halfway human.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always found her annoying. Like Lauren Southern's also really annoying, but I don't.
Well,
like
she
her
doesn't
much.
really
But I
have.
don't watch her.
People don't really pay too much attention to Lauren Southern anymore. I think.
Yeah, I don't. I was gonna say, I was like, I don't know what the fuck she does anyways.
Yeah,
I don't
she
know what
used to
she's
be
out
like.
there.
She used to be like. You know, she used to like go in debate
Didn't she
communities
used to be
all
like
the
an
time.
ultra annoying activist or something?
Yeah, she did that fucking.
Like getting on ships or.
Oh
some
my
shit.
god, yeah, she did some crazy shit. I don't even remember the details, but it was something about like migrants in Europe, like trying to fuck with people on boats.
Yeah, some
like,
dumb, some
some
extra
crazy
retarded
shit.
shit. It was like
Some
what?
crazy shit. But I remember like she used to
I've
like.
seen her, but I remember seeing her on Destiny a couple times. Too.
Yeah, she used to debate with
she's
him a lot,
alright. Like
yeah.
I remember, like I
She's
was like,
not the
you're-
worst. Everybody in the
Yeah.
community always was
I mean,
saying
it's still
they
dumb
have a.
shit. Like, she's-
No, for sure. Everyone in Destiny's community was always saying they had like a secret relationship.
I mean, she's pretty hot. Like, I don't
She's a
know.
very good looking woman for sure.
Yeah.
Whoa. By the way, and this is just because it's crazy I'm bringing this up. You saw the shit we were posting about that scandal with Destiny and Nick Fuentes, right?
Yeah, that's why I was like, yeah, you got too much Destiny in your brain. Yeah, it was partially
Oh,
reflected.
come
you
on.
guys,
That
like,
was a
watching
big
sex tapes
internet
or what.
thing. That wasn't just like, I mean, that was Nick Fuentes.
So, I mean, I'm guessing it was just all a fucking bunch of bullshit, but I guess
I
tell me
don't-
what happened.
I don't know. So there's a video.
So did he get gay with Nick Fuentes or what?
It appears that he got gay with Nick Fuentes on
I mean, it sounds
camera.
crazy. I guess Nick Fuentes used to be gay, right?
I don't know. I didn't know that.
Josh told me that, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that either.
I
I was like,
didn't
well,
know
look.
that
I mean, look at his
either.
face. I guess he is gay.
I mean, yeah, but
I'm
like
very
I
big like
I
that.
wasn't aware of that. That
I
he
didn't know
used
that
to-
either. I mean, Josh
Yeah.
told me that. I was like, oh, well, well, then, I mean, it's definitely, I mean, Destiny's a poly, which,
Destiny's
that means
poly
that-
and bi, like he's and so
it just means he'll fuck anything, so, yeah.
yeah, like Destiny's not that surprising, but the Nick Fuentes part was really surprising because he says a lot of really awful shit about gay people.
Yeah, he's a Nazi, and you're not.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why it was so crazy. Everybody was
That's
losing their
hilarious.
fucking minds, dude. That
I mean,
was
if it's
wild.
true, it's hilarious.
And like anybody who tried to bring it up in Destiny's chat was like getting an insta ban. It was crazy.
I mean, fuck around, find out.
Yeah. I was talking to the mod, who's a conservative.
Wait, can you still support Destiny or like Destiny if you fuck Nick Fuentes? I don't know if that, how does that work?
I don't care who people fuck.
But
I
isn't
care
Nick
if people
Fuentes the people who killed your people?
I if they fucked, I believe it was a hate. I believe it was a hate fuck. Okay. So this mod in his kick chat, she's a conservative girl. She goes by Puggy Gups. I messaged her. I was like, dude, I really want to talk about this, but I know if I do, you're gonna fucking ban me right away. And she gave me like the I'm fucking watching you emoji.
Okay.
I would like to bring in at some point because she is not like she disagrees with Destiny all the time, and
That sounds annoying too.
no. She's very reasonable, very easy to talk to, very nice.
Yeah,
She
I don't
doesn't.
want to debate, bro. Like
No,
aggressive
that's
people. 'Cause
not
I'm just
her at
not. I'm
all.
just
That's
interested in that
yeah.
shit.
She's a really good. She's got really good energy.
Okay, that's cool.
I love
Okay.
talking to her. I've had really great conversations with her as a conservative talking to a liberal, and they're always productive.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So yeah, whenever she finally gets her Discord set up, because she's been stuck on a Chromebook forever, I'll add her in.
I
She's
know.
pretty cool. Yeah,
Weird.
she's nice person. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then my other friend Daniel, who's a Trump voter and a comedian, he's a really nice guy as well. He's just gonna give what he gets, right? If you're nice to him, he'll be nice to you.
That's fine. I don't mind.
And he's been
I-
on my stream like a few
I only
times
said that
now.
just because mod right wing in Destiny's server. I was like, oh, I mean, it's a loud person. That's all.
She's totally awesome. Destiny has even said on his stream multiple times, she's a conservative, but we love her. She's
cool.
really
Very nice.
sweet, really, really nice.
I don't
and-
care what
yeah.
political affiliation. I just
Yeah,
feel
as
like-
long as you're a good
it's just
person,
loud.
like, and you're just
Yeah,
nice
it's
to
just
each
loud
other.
and obnoxious.
Yeah. And so yeah, I really do think the server is going in the right direction now. Like, we're moving in the right direction. I think we're all treating each other a lot more respectfully, and I want to keep that going, right?
Yeah.
I also did you see I made Mo say please? Did you see that?
Yeah.
I was like, just say fucking please, man. It's not that hard.
I think because he's done that to me too. I really think it's just like a translation thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I've actually explained to him. I'm like, when you do that, it's translates as a demand.
Yeah, it comes off as a little rude.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's an Americanism. But you know, if he wants to be better
Yeah.
with English, this is part of being better
Well,
with
that's
English.
what I told him. I was like, I was explaining to him, and I don't pull the woman card. Like, I don't get offended by a show yet. But I told him, I was like, yeah, because he bitches, yeah. Like, when you phrase it like that, what you're saying is he's always bitching about, like, you can't go, or whatever his problems are. And he's done this to me too. Like, and I'm like the way you talk, I'm like, when you phrase it that way, it sounds like what we hear is this.
Yeah. And that's
Which
just a
is, you know,
cultural
it's
thing.
dismissive.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But he'll learn the
But
more
he
he
doesn't mean
interacts.
like,
No,
he's
I
just
know
dumb.
that. I know that. But like, at some point, like, I've told it to him a bunch
You
of
know,
times.
he
At
has to
some point,
assimilate.
yeah, I just had to put my foot down and be like, you fucking say please, dog. You say please, and you'll get what you want.
Mm-hmm. No, I give him a lot of shit when he
Yeah.
bugs
No,
me.
I really,
I'm
I
like,
do
yo,
really,
okay.
I really like the kid. Like, and I see
No,
he's
he
got a
just
big
needs
heart,
himself.
right? And he just needs to learn a little bit more about our culture. That's all.
Well,
And there's nothing wrong with that, you know.
all right, dude. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm really tired. I'll talk to you
Yeah,
later.
this was
All
fun.
right,
Thanks for coming
Mhm.
on.
all right, see you later.
All right, bye. All right, guys. That was a really long talk. That ended up being a whole talk about politics and not too much gaming. But I definitely will pick up more No Man's Sky soon. Maybe I will finish up getting off the planet in the first place. By the next time, we'll be doing things a little bit more exciting. Everybody, take care. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you all have a very,